in as favourites against the Adelaide Crows, and they've got a couple of hurdles to clear before they can get to a grand final again and maybe this year go on and win it. The MCG filling up despite rain during the reserves and just prior to the game. It is going to be a big crowd though, and here come the Demons. How about this? Last year and in a semi-final this year.
Darren Wakeland has the job too on David Neitz down deep in the Melbourne forward line.
Bit of confusion at half-back for St Kilda. Player on his own way out outside the 50. And St Kilda player looks like Hudson at centre-half back on his own.
Umpire John Harvey bounces to get us underway. White charged pretty hard at Everett. Aussie Jones now for the Saints. Back to Hall across half-back. Great tackle, Viney. Dispossesses him. Leoncelli comes back. McDonald quickly to Rigoni. Deep inside 50. Oh, Neitz. How did he pick that bouncing ball? Ball held to him, and the umpire will ball it up.
Through just the forward line structure for St Kilda, Nicky Winmar is lined up at full forward, so Jason Heatley has come out. What that didn't do, though, was drag out Shanahan. He stayed at full back.
Chance for Melbourne, close to goal. But the umpire wants it again. The umpires, Peter Carey, Gavin Dorr and John Harvey.
Big job there for Brett Gergic picking up Winmar there. I mean, it's been a big job for the young fella, that close to goal. Winmar can be very dangerous there.
Shanahan picking up Stuart Lowe. And that's, of course, down the other end of the ground on the centre wing. One of the Wakeland boys having to come off the ground through the blood rule by the look of it.
Robbo, so just while you're talking about, just a quick update on the interchange, just while Wakeland comes off. He'll be replaced by Cook Brown. Tony Brown sitting alongside him, as well as Matty Lappin and Joe McLaren.
It's interesting, Russell, that this boy is just taking as long as he can.
Well,
obviously, is that to give Stan Ells the chance to work out who he does want to go back?
Yeah, I think so, Rob. I think a lot of the umpires are wary of this as well. They want to get this thing moving pretty quickly.
Well, that is as slow as you've ever seen a guy come off the ground.
Matty Lappin's coming on to replace Wakeland. They're just trying to get restructured, Robbo. Look, it's a good point because, you know, with the blood rule, it is something that the coaches don't plan, obviously, so they've got to really get it organised again.
Yes, you wouldn't be expecting that with just under 2 minutes of play.
And
transpired.
Robbo, the Melbourne bench, Kowal, Jimmy Steins, Travis Johnstone, the rookie, and James McDonald, and looks like Wakeland's just got a little cut on the knee.
Thanks, Barra. The bounce of the ball about 40 metres from goal, taken there by Leoncelli. He kicks in towards the pocket. Barry Hall gets back close to the line. One step over, one step in. Too high, the tackle. So Barry Hall to take the free kick for St Kilda in the right back pocket. He comes across the face of goal. He's got a player here in Peckett. He's still in his defensive 50. Peckett kicks it very, very nicely to Everett. Everett couldn't quite take the mark. Two Demon players fall over. Everett with the chance. Febey to effect the attempted tackle. Everett's kick will bounce close to the line and will stay in by the look of it. Ingerson, the handball. Uze, little left foot kick back towards the wing as a kick down the ground. It'll be taken there by David Schwarz.
Schwarz from centre wing. Pretty ordinary kick, but it lands all right for Leoncelli. The hand pass off. Rigoni back to Leoncelli, and he kicks long to full forward. Neitz one out.
Well, there's no doubt about his marking strength. Just over the last month, he has really started to dominate in the air. The one thing I like about David Neitz is when he attacks the ball, he attacks it pretty hard, and even if he doesn't actually mark it, he's going to spill the ball to ground level, and we've seen how Melbourne take advantage of that with Farmer. But on this occasion, it was very strong hands.
So David Neitz, who in the last 3 weeks has kicked 3 goals, 5 and 6 for the opening goal of the game. Oh, a poster from only 20 metres out.
Morv, just a quick wind report. Melbourne do have the favour of a reasonably strong breeze, probably maybe 2 to 3 goals, but as we know at the G, it does swirl around, but definite advantage for them.
Maybe a bit of nerves there for David Neitz, missing from about 30 metres out. Not much of an angle. The kick in. Chance here for Schwarz. He breaks the tackle. Left foot kick will land close to half forward, but it's well marked there by Peckett. Peckett missing from the St Kilda lineup last week against the Swans through a bit of illness. Kicks it out wide, out towards the wing. Everett there for St Kilda, and the ball trundles over for a boundary throw-in.
And Robbo, it appears now that Guy Rigoni has the job on Robert Harvey, so looks like he's been told by Neil Danaher to play very, very tight and very close.
Not a bad day. I think we're perhaps expecting a little bit of rain. Rain did fall during the reserves game, but a humid, probably more a nice quiet day here in Melbourne. Harvey's hand pass, not too bad in the finish. Burke gathers, close to the boundary line. A rather ordinary kick, so nerves quite evident here early in the game. Uze down to the ground, and he made it look very, very obvious. The umpire picking that up will give the free kick to Adem Uze at half-back for the Demons. We have a look here, just the tackle a little high there by David Sirakowski.
Yeah, just makes the most of it, but when you're in there, you need to be able to settle it down. So if you can pick up a free kick that way, well, fair enough at this stage of the game. At
the back, gathered by Woewodin, handball to Schwarz. Schwarz further on field. This ball must bounce. It does beautifully for Febey. Stephen Febey, shot for goal. Well marked by Farmer. Pickett was there, but there was nothing much he could do. And Farmer has marked. You can see the angle that is confronting Jeff Farmer, the chance for Melbourne's first goal.
I think once again then, Wills, that's the advantage of playing in front if you are a 4 there. No doubt Jeff Farmer got in front. His body work too on Pickett was very good. He pushed back and made Pickett go backwards there, so it's good play by Jeff Farmer.
Going for his 43rd goal for the year. And he has kicked the goal.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't. By gee whiz. Jeff Farmer are behind. Neitz are behind. Demons 2 points. St Kilda yet to score.
Well,
Peter McKenna.
Yes, Drew, I don't think 25-metre shots for goal on the MCG, when it's blustery like this, none of them are easy. There's no gimmies in this game.
Max Hudson marks the kick in. But boy, Neitz and Farmer had a great opportunity to give the Demons a great start. Hudson's kick is poor, misses Pickett, and the ball's out of bounds. It's in the forward pocket for Melbourne.
Just a quick comment at ground level, because they are very nervous, the ball's got a bit of moisture on it. It's very obviously slippery. Straight up the middle. What do you think, Dougie?
Yeah, no doubt about that, Russ. Absolutely spot on.
Hudson back to Burke. Close to the boundary line. Brown is there. Uze outmarks him. Centering ball to centre half forward. Jeff White.
Yeah, Melbourne have really started off well. This is the 5th time they've been inside 50 already. St Kilda haven't reached that their end of the ground just yet. Tony Brown comes off. Wakeland comes back on, but this is where Jeff White is very, very dangerous, in that he works that centre corridor between centre half forward and centre half back, and he provides that little kick option all the time. No one's taken more uncontested marks as a big man in the competition this year than Jeff White.
Well, he kicked a goal from outside 50 last week against Adelaide, and this one is just away to the right. So the Demons have had 3 shots at goal after 3 marks, but haven't managed a goal.
They're very costly miss, Drew, here, these guys by the Melbourne side. They need to kick a goal.
Brown off the ground too there, we saw on the bench. Pickett has marked the kick in. Robertson minding that mark. Pickett goes outside the defensive 50, gets the ball close to centre wing. Brilliantly gathered by Harvey. Customary play there by Robert Harvey. He's kicked towards half forward, gathered by Seacamp. The handball pretty well ineffective. Todd Viney dispossessed there by Aussie Jones. Forces a boundary throw in left half forward for the Saints.
Robbo, just watching that piece of play there, was I think Nicky Winmar really is well out of it at full forward. He needs to be up and about around half forward, because when St Kilda do win, he's one of the players who's doing well across half forward.
St Kilda a very impressive record. They've won their last 3 matches against Melbourne
by an average of 74 points.
Stephen Febey, he's been a terrific player. Robertson, just a little fumble again. Woewodin is in underneath there, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Umpire Gavin Dorr officiating in that part of the ground at this stage. Big crowd, terrific crowd here at the MCG. First semi-final. Loser bows out. Winner goes on to play North Melbourne next Friday night. Just outside 54, Melbourne. Schwarz gets rid of his opponent in Everett. Controls the football pretty well. Uze to Farmer, tackled by Pickett. Young not able to really control the footy. Tried to get it to Harvey. Woewodin. Farmer on Wakeland was a good tackle. They're ferocious, the Demons. In goes a chance now for Rigoni. Rigoni's left foot snappers across the face out of bounds on the full. Free kick for St Kilda to be taken in their left back pocket by Wakeland.
Farmer's been impressive early. His mark against Pickett, as Doug said, nice and tight in front, and then laying that tackle just then in the forward line. Neil Danaher would be very pleased with the forward pocket start to the game.
Well, Wakeland's kick in up the centre corridor, which could be dangerous if Melbourne get hold of the footy. Down goes Andrew Thompson. His hand pass is blocked. It gets inside the 50. Matthew Febey caught by Mitchell. Play on, says the umpire. And this will be a ball up on the 50.
Great intensity on the ground level here, more sensational stuff. The tackling's is great. The boys have got no fear. It's a fantastic final so far.
Gary Lyon, who has been like a jumper lead for Melbourne recently, really kick-starting them early. He's missing today. Leoncelli, a hurried kick. A fumble by Hall was costly. Back to Wakeland, now Young. Max Hudson goes to the southern stand side. Everett covering ground. Spider clears the defensive 50 to the wing. Seacamp at full stretch, couldn't mark. Tingay comes inside with the hand pass. White playing about 80 metres back off Everett. Beautifully done by Ingerson, but the hand pass goes astray to Hudson. The former Queenslander kicks well short of half forward. Heatley is spoiled. I thought he had the mark, but the ball's knocked away from him. Well done by Seacamp, and the ball out of play.
Just makes that last yard, doesn't he, Marcus Seacamp? And that's the thing. I mean, Jason Heatley just held off a little bit, waited for the ball to come to him rather than going and meeting it.
Well, you can see there Melbourne dominating so far, and you really must punish the opposition if you're controlling the game like Melbourne have so far. They've been inside their forward 57 times. St Kilda yet to enter at all. Cook about to come onto the ground there, warming up on the boundary line. Boundary throw in, White from behind, but Everett gets the effective tap to the front of the pack. Tingay to gather, Jones to apply the pressure. Kicked away by Zilla, gets it nearly to half forward. Ingerson a good spoil. Now the opportunity is there for Uze. Good tackle by Heatley to force the ball over and at least keep it in St Kilda's forward half. And Peter McKenna, what have you seen so far, Pete?
Well, I'm just thinking that when you've got a natural full forward like Heatley, is such a great kick, I think he should have started in the goal square. I'd get him back, particularly now Shanahan's not playing at fullback. Heatley up there and get Winmar up the ground a bit as we see another Blood Rule and Gavin Mitchell going off.
I think you're very right there, Peter. Jason Heatley, even then, in that marking contest, well, he held back, so it wasn't a real contest. He needs to be back in the square where his strength is being able to lead. He marks very well on the lead, so I think it's probably time to roll those over. Sarakoski, he's coming off. He just went to centre half forward for a period there where Stewie Lowe took the ruck work, but now with Cook coming on, he'll come in there and now look to continue to run with White. So Stan could be doing a little bit of a revolving options against young Jeff White.
No doubt, Wills, and it appears now that Stephen Zilla has been given a defensive role on the wing, picking up Stephen Tingay, so obviously going to play him very tight and very close. Here's Nicky Winmar, started the game deep in the goal square for the St Kilda side, picked up by Brett Gergic.
Everett wins the hit out, but it's sharked by Tingay. The kick up towards half forward. Up high was Hall, but couldn't take the ball. Hudson at ground level. Well done. Terrific play by Max Hudson. Young in trouble. He spun into the tackle. Advantage to Tingay. He centres the ball for Neitz. Almost. Here comes Farmer, the danger man. Jeffrey Farmer. Another poster. Four behinds for Melbourne, including two posters.
There'll be a big cheer if they can get a goal as we have a look here at Jeffrey Farmer roving the pack again. Read it a little bit better maybe than Peckett.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Robbo. And Brett Cook's just come on the ground and he's paying very, very close attention to young Jeffrey White. He's letting him know he's on the ground.
Kick in by Shane Wakeland. Young, wide to Hall. Oh, in trouble there was Zilla. In goes Hudson to help out. Young, his kick. Lands close to the wing. Thompson and Stephen Febey. Gathered by Schwarz. He's handling that ball very nicely. Ingerson in towards the centre. Mark taken here by Leoncelli. Looks to play on. Well tackled. Ball still free. One well done by Tony Brown. Harvey missing it there with Schwarz. To help out is White. Gee, that ball is awkward. It's a hot footy. Leoncelli again. Down he goes, but Neitz is marked anyway. It was a kick down the ground, but emphatically gathered by David Neitz, 30 metres out, and a very, very slight angle, a bit of a dust up at centre half back, and Barry Hall being spoken to by the umpire.
Well, you just don't need this in finals football, do you? The ball clearly on down the ground, and you can see as Barry Hall turned then, that displayed what his original intention was. It was just to take the body of their player. Free kick down the field, the right decision.
Swirling breeze at the MCG. David Neitz going for Melbourne's first goal. Kicks for goal. And I think he's missed that too.
Oh, gee whiz.
So two behinds to Neitz, two behinds to Farmer, one to Jeff White. And that's right, The Demons have kicked 5 behind, St Kilda yet to score.
There's Barry Hall once again here. I was very, very impressed with Barry Hall last week against Sydney. I thought he was brilliant down at centre back, even though his stats weren't very high, but he played a very disciplined role down at centre back. But that occasion then was very, very silly by the big fella.
Oh, Hall goes short. Tingay almost sharked it. Comes back to Young. A mighty kick. He's kicked it 65, 70 metres, and Heatley takes the mark. Working off Seacamp. Too far out to score. Nicky Winmar breaks from full forward. Heatley goes for distance, and they run onto it. Lowe is there. And what a ball! Almost. Yes, paid. Right in front.
Jason Daniels, it looks like, Drew.
St Kilda have been there once, and they'll have a shot for goal from right in front. It doesn't seem fair. Melbourne are 5 behind.
Well, this is good work from Daniels. Has got the job on Viney, so there's a lot of work being done in the midfield. He then takes Viney on and runs hard in front of the contest here. St Kilda had clear possession on the outer side, so it was a well-judged move from him. Lowe's doing a similar thing from the other side. Whether St Kilda fans would prefer Jason Dunstall of Market or Stewie Lowe, we'll find out now.
Amazing.
Very,
mark by
very
Jack
generous,
Daniels.
wasn't he, the umpire there?
I reckon it's a mark.
Oh.
Right in front. And don't tell me, he's missed it. Well, you're right, it wasn't Jason Dunstall.
No, it certainly wasn't there, Drew. And I'll tell you what, I think Peter McKenna hit it on the head before. He just said it's very, very windy out there. And even though you're only 20 minutes out, we expect guys to kick those guys at this level. But I'll tell you, he's bad kicking.
When it comes to kicking, the only thing in common with Jason Dunstall he has is his initials.
Well, Barry Hall has been taken from the ground due to his indiscretion a few moments ago. Uze, well done. Sets it up for Robertson. Robertson to the front of the goals. Good kick. Back goes Neitz. Good race here between he and Daryl Wakeland. Neitz still there. Young. Now Daryl Wakeland again. Left-hand hand pass. Out wide for Everett. Everett goes short. Saints will mount something here. Tony Brown. Left foot kick by Brown to within 35 metres. The ball at the back. Could be mopped up here by Seacamp. Pressure applied by Heatley. Jones. Still Heatley. In front of the goals. Thompson. Has hit the post. May have been touched off the boot anyway. But another behind. This time kicked by Andrew Thompson for St Kilda.
Yeah, good play here by Heatley. It was good play by Ozzie Jones, who kept the ball alive. And the handball was to the ground, not trying to handball too high. So it was good football there by Jason Heatley. Very unlucky there, young Thompson then.
Dougie, you talk about the wind. I mean, it is an influence in this first quarter, but it's no excuse for missing goals 25 metres out.
You should kick them. You're dead right there, Russell.
Melbourne have used the interchange, and the McDonald brothers have been swapped over. Incredible. We've had 7 behinds, no goals, and 3 of the 7 behinds have been posters. Good punch by Mitchell from behind. Comes to Uze. He finished up going without the ball. High tackle on Daniels, and he'll take the free kick. Back to Winmar, who's in the middle of the ground now. Wide to Heatley or Everett. Well, that was a long way home. That was via the Cape.
St Kilda are just starting to turn it around in the middle of the ground now. The early Melbourne were dominant there. Uze and Leoncelli getting a lot of football, but now St Kilda just starting to win some critical ball in the middle of the ground.
Here's Tony Brown. Is this the first goal? Ozzie Jones marks. Don't like his angle, but he is close.
You bet your last dollar he'll come around to his left foot here. I don't think he'll try the boomerang kick. I think he'll come around with his left foot.
Geez, the Melbourne defence haven't squeezed in on that run around, Doug.
Jones, the banana kick. I think he's kicked it. It's taken 18.5 minutes, but we've finally got a goal.
And it was the most unlikely shot of goal to get the goal of all of them, wasn't it? So, I mean, we've had 3 posters, 2 from Melbourne, 1 for St Kilda, and then we get this real tight angle. Now, I mean, you have no doubt about the skills of Austin Jones. He certainly has them. Out he goes with the 1-2 step kick, drags it back around. Something special there from Austin.
7 behinds, kicked before Ozzie Jones gets the first goal of the game. And the 7 shots at goal were all possible goals for either side. The bounce back in the centre. White, up high was Cook. Jason Daniels to run onto it. Winmar tried to make it for himself. A little bit unfortunate there, Nicky Winmar coming off the wing. And the ball locked up, it'll be bounced once again.
By the way, too, Robbo, that was Ozzy Jones's first kick, who, of course, is playing on the wing on Matthew Febey. That will do nothing for him. I mean, that'll do a lot for his confidence because he's been down a little bit over the last couple of weeks. That's certainly give him a lift.
No doubt about that. Cook gets it down. Kick smothered. Viney, he's finding it difficult to shrug that tag of Jason Daniels. Tingay, Zilla gets it to Daniels. Daniels again towards half forward. Heatley tries to tap it to the advantage of Harvey. Succeeds. Harvey to Everett, too high, the kick carrying into the pocket. Jones again, looks to give the hand pass off, then the short pass. Oh, Zilla nearly took the specky. Gathered here by Uze, off the left boot. Kicks it back towards the wing. Young knocks it forward. Outnumbered out there is McDonald. Gathered now, this is Febey. Matthew Febey's kick towards Schwarz, knocked away by Hudson, close to the line. Young, handball to Winmar, nearly run down. Winmar gets the kick away. It's a kick down the ground as rain falls here at the cricket ground. And the free kick, well, it's going back maybe to Winmar. No, it's going down the ground.
No, it's gone back to Winmar, and a 50-metre penalty is being applied by umpire John Harvey. I didn't see what the indiscretion was. More often than not, this is here's the free kick. So it comes back to where Winmar was because the contact was made at the point of kicking, and it was deemed illegal because it was pushing the back.
Terry, Peter McKenna, it was given against David Schwarz for mouthing off at the umpire.
Well, he's got a little bit of a reputation for that, David Schwarz, and might prove costly. Winmar from 40 metres. Well, he's missed everything. It's out of bounds on the full. St Kilda 8, lead Melbourne 5.
Just
got
technically,
about 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
Just technically, Robbo, a lot of the players are still just leaning back on their kick at goal. They need to have more momentum running at goal and really hitting the ball low. The ball in these conditions should only about half post height. You get up any higher, the wind is going to take its impact on it.
Uze clears the 50. Rain pretty steady. Febey couldn't take it cleanly. Hurried out of the pack to full forward, low. Heatley at the back. Shanahan, the former Saint, against his old side. Well, he made sure it wasn't going anywhere near the goals, and they've got it out near the 50 after a defensive kick by Febey.
He just flirted with danger there. He should have put the hands down and picked the ball up rather than trying to kick it off the ground, I thought.
Particularly when the ball's about 3 foot off the ground there. You've got to grab hold of it and get rid of it.
Shanahan in against Everett. Everett naturally wins it to Harvey. Nathan Burke looks dangerous. Good looking kick. Oh, just offline. So the malaise continues with behind after behind. Melbourne have kicked 5 behinds and St Kilda 1 goal 3.
Drew, the conditions out there are pretty ordinary though. It's very slippery and the ball getting a bit heavy, and Saints have moved Everett into the forward line now and joined him up with Shanahan, so maybe that could be the move they're looking for.
Well, is it that hard that we've had 9 shots at goal for only 1 success? Tony Brown gets the hand pass back to Harvey, finds some space. Kick forward by Zilla. Will be well marked by Febey. Stephen Febey handballs across the goal line. No, he's not allowed to do that. So he'll have to go back and kick it back from out of those behinds.
Saw the replay of Nathan Burke kicking for goal a moment ago. He looked as though he pulled something. He went to hold something in his back.
Well, we'll watch that with a bit of interest. The ball spills to the front of the pack. Ingerson to Leoncelli. Now, a free kick, an attempted shepherd, has been deemed as illegal, I guess. Free kick to Nathan Burke.
You just think from this distance he may test Nathan Burke. He had a shot a bit earlier.
With 5 minutes left, Stein's preparing to come onto the ground. Winmar's hand pass a bit emphatic. Gathered by Cook, a flying shot at goal. Very wide, out of bounds on the full.
So what they tried to work there was exactly as you called it, Doug. Nathan Burke deemed it was outside his distance, so tried just to give it off to someone who perhaps could have kicked the goal. Yeah. Went for Nicky and just made a bit meal of it.
I think Nicky may have had the spent wheels before he got hold of the footy, and as I think it was Russell or Adrian Barrett on the boundary said, the ball is getting very slippery now, and that just showed you when Winmar dropped that ball, because he's got great ball handling qualities.
Stephen Febey frustrated with the umpire here. Umpire Carey making him come back over the mark for the 2nd time in a minute. And he has to kick towards the broadcast side. Outside the 50, White is there. Ingerson couldn't take the mark. Leoncelli across to Jeff White. He's kicked to the centre of the ground. Tingay waited a little bit. Taken by Seacamp. Open forward line. Neitz on the lead.
Oh.
Well, it could have been a push against Darryl Wakeland. It
Has
is.
to be. Yeah.
What do you think happened there? Maybe the umpire in the area waited for the umpire in the middle of the ground to perhaps give this as an infringement?
Well, I thought the umpire was in a great spot there, Robbo. I thought it was certainly his decision, not the umpire in the middle of the ground.
But it took a long while to come, didn't it?
Dougie was the second one. I think when Wakeland fell onto Neitz's back with his leg, I think that was the one that did it.
And 50 metres now for Neitz. So the Demons surely will get their first goal.
I can tell you what, both coaches' boxes will be just pulling their hair out. I mean, all the work you do to prepare the sides, and there's just too much undisciplined play, the 2 50-metre penalties, direct shots at goal, too much letting down.
Melbourne in front.
Yeah, too many errors by too many players, particularly when conditions are only going to get worse. The ball's going to get slipperier. So in the best part of the game, we've had too many players that let themselves and their team down. Now here's, as Russell Morris mentions, it's his second free kick with the little knee drop there from Darryl, that the free kick goes.
Boys, Jeff
Jimmy
Stein.
Stein's just come onto the ground now, and Jeff White's off the ground.
Yeah, Brett Cook really worked over White, and he's gone off.
So Stan Alves in the coach's box. Barry, you've got something for us?
Just backing up Dougie there. Steinsy on into the ruck. Cook really worked over White, and he's come off.
Well, I think we've come to expect that Jeff White does have a spell at the end of each quarter. Nearly a good interception there by Leon Chelly. Mitchell. Young McDonald, the aggressor there, he went in hard. Robert Harvey trying to clear the pack. The umpire will bounce once again. 4 minutes left in the first term. White having a spell close to quarter time. The first semi-final. And we see Neitz and Wakeland, the interesting statistics there. The ball gathered here by Febey, not able to get the hand pass away. Zilla did to Burke. Burke quickly squeezes the kick towards half forward. Awkward bouncing ball. Gergic leading Winmar. In goes Uze to help out. Brown, good tackle, forces a boundary throw in. You do see a lot of one umpire looking at the other. Maybe just a little bit of indecision by one as to whether the free kick should be given. But on this occasion, both agree that it should be a boundary throw in. At the back, Cook got it down in the Burke area. Oh, beautifully gathered here by Uze. Just ran into a bit of strife in the way of Gavin Mitchell.
I think there might have been a little trip in there.
Umpire calls for a bounce.
He's getting a lot of football. There's 9 disposals to Adem Uze. I mean, it's a little bit tight and slippery underfoot for him here now, which has pulled back his quality use of work here. There's the trip there. Down he goes a long time after the contact.
Jimmy Steins along the boundary line, through the interchange gate and out of bounds on centre wing. What a hero for the Melbourne fans. Recruited from Ireland, won a Brownlow medal, and 4 times has won the club's best and fairest. An unbelievable story. Thompson comes down to Steve Febey. His kick is beautiful to centre half forward. Everett got back but couldn't take the mark. Neitz is giving Darryl Wakeland all sorts of trouble. Zilla's hand pass back to Peckett. Towards the wing, look at Tony Brown. 30 metres in the clear, or 50. Kick by Brown. Winmar from the goal square. Couldn't take the mark. Gergic, inside he comes to Seacamp. And Melbourne's defence with the job to clear. Guy Rigoni, in his first season, remarkable, picked at number 77 in the draft. It sits up well for young James McDonald. He gains about 40 metres. Aussie Jones gets back. Round the corner he goes. Lappin, he came off the bench. It was a bit crude by Woewodin. Free kick to St Kilda.
I tell you what, Jason Daniels is doing a super job on Todd Viney. He is the man in the engine room for the Melbourne side. Has certainly been great over this year so far. So far in the game, Todd Viney's yet to have a touch, and Jason Daniels had 4 touches. Done a great job.
Andrew Thompson takes the free kick. Played for Victoria this year. And the punch by Shanahan away from Stewie Lowe. Stewie's got a lift. He hasn't kicked a goal in the last 3 rounds.
Hasn't really affected the statistician yet either.
Not yet at all. You know, it's so important for him to get up and going.
Knocked down. Mitchell got it across to Burke. Another shot for goal by Nathan Burke. It's a floater. May have been just touched off the boot. And it will be thrown in about 20 metres around from St Kilda's.
I'll tell you what, Robbo. Wills, I think Julie got head before. Sorry, Burke kicked, free kick here to Winmar, but Burke once again, after he's kicked the football, he's grabbed his hip again. There's no doubt he's got a hip problem there.
Well, against
Oh,
Ingerson,
soft.
that's pretty ordinary,
That's
isn't it?
soft, Rob,
Gee
isn't it?
whiz, in a tough game.
What are we coming to if that's a free kick?
It's a contact
Hey, but it is
sport.
a free kick because he did it. That's simple as
Well,
that.
you'd be technical and give 100 of them throughout the day, and he's got his just desserts. Out of bounds in the opposite pocket. Free kick to Melbourne, close to quarter time.
Yeah, it's Nicky Winmar twice now out in the full from shots that a bloke of his quality should kick those goals. That was a soft free kick, Robbo.
Just, you don't mind
It's
if
a
it
joke.
happens all day long. If that sort of
Yeah.
thing continues by the umpires.
That's soft.
11 plays 9, close to quarter time. Shanahan with the ball in the left back pocket for the Demons. Gets a good kick out too, outside the defensive 50, gathered by Mitchell. He's had a couple of important possessions. Thompson was pretty good. In goes Lappin, chopped off by Tingay. Got the hand pass away, close to the line. Zilla again, we've become accustomed to watching that man have a bit of a dip at it. He's going to get a free kick. Well, we believe that was Nicky Winmar having a bit of a go at Anthony Ingerson, and Ingerson was penalised for retaliating. The kick in towards centre-half forward for the Saints. The ball is gathered here by Matthew Febey. Gives away a lot of meterage back to his brother. The ball will be gathered here by Jones. Watch this. Aussie Jones, lovely hand pass Lappin, and Lappin kicks and Kilda's second goal. Close to quarter time. The Saints fans have got something to be excited about. St Kilda lead by 4 points.
Yeah, just the two Febey twins really made a mess of this one. Just conceding some ground back and then losing foot, went for the boundary line, but nowhere near strong enough at all. And Jones was able to clean it up and been very influential. 7 disposals to Aussie Jones and the first goal of the game to him also.
Another change in the lead. The Saints now up by 4 points in the last minute of the first quarter. Mitchell went without it, but regathers. Brown, back to Harvey. The Brownlow medalist goes wide to Burke. Nathan Burke's had a lot of it. He'll be putting that pulled muscle to the test if he keeps getting kicks. Lappin from the boundary line, centres the ball. Oh, well played Ingerson. He's been sensational at centre-half back all season.
The midfield duels have really spun around. Halfway through the quarter, we were saying that Melbourne were really in control. Now Melbourne St Kilda have come back, and actually their key players in the middle of the ground starting to get more possessions than St Kilda and Melbourne.
Stuart Lowe hasn't bothered the statisticians as yet. Gergic up towards half forward on the chest of his skipper Viney.
First kick coming up.
Viney's kick to half forward. Tingay leaps. Oh, well done, Aussie Jones. Tingay, the second effort, brilliant. Young, and the siren beats them as Melbourne were threatening. Well, a first quarter that could have been anything, but we had only 3 goals between them. Melbourne peppered away early, but couldn't find the major opening. So I don't think either coach would be over happy with the way their teams played in that first quarter. It's St Kilda 2-3, Melbourne 1-5. Start of the second quarter at the MCG. Very light drizzle falling at the moment. White back on to start. Everett made it a contest. Rigoni a good tackle on Burke. Rigoni follows up, but on the chest of Aussie Jones. Forward to Harvey. Harvey's kick inside, centre half forward, Low caught behind, couldn't take the mark. Plays on, goes for goal. Well, it's his first kick, so the rev up at quarter time might have worked for the co-captain, and he gets it behind.
Yeah, well, Stan obviously believes that he needed more out of him and had a real dip at him at quarter time. I mean, last week, even though it was in the wet, Stewie Lowe only had 4 marks, but as we've said, since his return from suspension, he kicked 4 goals in his first game back, but in the 3 since, hasn't scored a goal. And for St Kilda to do well in their forward line, Stewart really needs to contribute something.
Stephen Febey, who had 8 kicks in the first quarter, kicks in and finds Shanahan outside the defensive 50. The player on the mark is about 52 metres from goal. Shanahan kicks the ball close to the wing. White, chipping in was Ingerson. Tap away gathered by Harvey. Harvey's direct kick towards centre half forward. Winmar couldn't take the mark. Brown's kick, left foot snap by Tony Brown, may bounce through for a goal. Tony Brown gets the first goal of the second term. St Kilda's third. They lead by 11 points.
Yeah, good play there by big Brett Cook on that occasion. Made a contest here against Anthony Ingerson by punching the ball. Quick play by Harvey. I mean, that's a brand about Harvey. He get the ball to his foot very, very quickly. And, of course, Wimar making a contest, and the snap was Brown was very, very good. That's the goal the Saints certainly wanted.
The chairman of selectors, Norm Goss, told us at quarter time that they were happy with Tony Brown's contribution in the first quarter off the bench. He's had 6 possessions and now a goal. Viney delayed the hand pass, did well to find White. Neitz in front. Wakeland having trouble with him. Ball comes to the front. James McDonald, good use of the body. He clears a path for Farmer. But the path was quickly buried.
Well, off just a quick bench update. Sirakoski, Matty Lappin, a surprise kick to go in the first quarter. Hall and McLaren.
Melbourne is Darren Kowal, Jimmy Steins, Travis Johnson and Anthony McDonald.
Big pack around this ball up. 45 metres out from goal. Melbourne attacking. Clever backhander gets it back outside the 50. Farmer had it spent before he got it. James McDonald crunched down. Peckett gets the hand pass away to Young. Across the ground, and here's Tony Brown again.
He judged that pretty well. Sun shining now here over the MCG. Mitchell's kick towards half forward. Ball spills to the back. Chance here for White. Shanahan quickly onto his right foot. In towards the centre of the ground, and well done, Stephen Tingay. Confronted by Robert Harvey. And he marked safely on his chest near the centre circle. Tingay, an important player for Melbourne this year. Short kick. It's been marked by Leoncelli. Leoncelli can go short as well. Mark is taken here by McDonald. McDonald's left foot kick into the pocket. And back goes Matthew Febey. He's marked within scoring distance. It'll take a good kick to convert. Matthew Febey for Melbourne has kicked just 6 goals this year, along with his brother. The short kick has been marked by Farmer. Justin Peckett.
Better mark this mark pretty keenly, otherwise he'll whip round you.
42 goals for the year so far, Jeffrey Farmer.
I don't think he'll try and step him, Wills, here. I think he'll have the direct shot at goals here.
Yeah, the conditions, I mean, underfoot, a little slippery now, and it will be flirting with danger. And Nathan Burke's got himself in the right position just off the mark to guard that anyway.
Well, important for Melbourne to get a goal. They've kicked 1 out of 6 shots. That goes across the face and scores a behind. 3 behinds to Jeffrey Farmer. So he, along with Melbourne, badly need to convert their next opportunity. David Sierakowski warming the bench with Barry Hall. The kick in, taken by Young.
Matthew Young's been good for the Saints. Febey puts on the pressure and wins the football. Gets it back from Woewodin. Kick by Febey deep inside 50. Chance for the Demons at ground level. Neitz goes off the ground. Ball out of bounds in the forward pocket.
More off, just a quick comment. I'm just wondering what Dougie thinks about Melbourne, who traditionally in the last few weeks had a really good start, but now they've kicked points. St Kilda in front. It's got to suit the Saints.
Yeah, no doubt, Russell. They may need to regroup here maybe and get the goal to answer the goal kick by the Saints, of course, for Brown.
Saints have won 1 out of their 3 games at the MCG this year. When they met Melbourne in round 13 earlier on, well, the Demons weren't going that flash at this stage, and St Kilda whipped them by 85 points. Demons have come in as favourites, but it's worth remembering that. A soccer off the ground out of the pack through for a minor score.
Another stat here. There's Barry Stoneham, of course, the Geelong captain up there, had a shocking run of injuries over the last couple of years. Melbourne are yet to have a handball inside their 50 line, in their forward 50.
Well, St Kilda have shut them down so far. Wakeland's long kick well outside his defensive 50 area. Everett tries to provide a contest, just maybe to lock the ball in. Stephen Febey over the top of Thompson. Gets the ball clear to White. White with his right foot. Kicks it high in the direction of Neitz. Good punch away there by Shane Wakeland. Oh, well done by Woewodin. Neitz again, a bad fumble. Nathan Burke, well done. Good, strong play. Young drops the mark. Uze can't get past, gets the hand pass away. Rigoni's little left foot kick, gathered by Robertson. No, he missed it. Hudson Held didn't have the football. And Robertson, a despondent looking. Russell Robertson. Look to play on. The Demons are right onto it, and they've locked it up in their forward 50.
Robbo, they're all trying to play dry weather footy. The ball is as slippery as a pig, so really they've got to adjust. It's the team that can adjust to the conditions first will prevail.
Well, it's Shane Woewodin is injured too and will be coming off for Darren Kowal. Hurt his back in that tackle just before that courageous effort by him.
So the bounce inside the Demons forward 50. Kick for goal by Rigoni is offline and scores another behind. 1 goal 8. Bad scoreline for Melbourne. Their confidence sapping slowly as Kowal comes onto the ground for Melbourne.
Well, Woden's effort was great. He tapped the ball forward to Neitz, but was crunched right in the middle of the back. Peter McKenna.
Yes, the two centre forwards, Drew, having a tough time of it. Stuart Lowe at one end and David Schwarz at the other, because Hudson and Shanahan are two very close checking players, and I wouldn't envy those players trying to get a kick on those two.
Everett just inside the boundary line, marks it right half back for the Saints. St Kilda 3-4, Melbourne 1 goal 8 to half forward Winmar. Gee, it's a good mark. Slippery as a pig, eh, Russ?
It's a good kick too.
Great kick to the goal square, Ozzie Jones!
So the St Kilda forward line then, everybody was up. When Nicky Winmar took the mark outside 50, there wasn't a player inside the forward 50, but there was a pack running onto it. And Winmar just kicked ever so well to the top of the square. Jones with some just a little bit of body work there on Febey, able to judge the flight of the ball better and take it. Great kick from Winmar.
Winmar setting it up for Ozzie Jones, who's having some sort of a game. Aussie's had 9 possessions and kicked 2 of the Saints' 4 goals. Melbourne still languishing on 1 goal 8. St Kilda knock it forward to left half forward. Thompson and Stephen Febey. The ball spills now. This is Cook. Cook for St Kilda. Kicks them to within scoring range once again. Punched away there by Gergic. Brown onto it. Handball. Gergic gets back right on the goal line. Brent Gergic kicks towards the members' side here at the cricket ground. The race is on now. Everett and Ingerson. Everett leaves it behind. Ingerson's handball. Sets it up for Tingay. Tingay's little left foot kick. White's got a bit of space. Can gather. Tries to get back. Oh, great tackle there by Mitchell. He's got to be rewarded. He took the big bloke on and affected the tackle and has got the free kick.
Gavin Mitchell, I mean, he's the number 2 tackler for St Kilda. You can see why here. He just powers in at White, wrapping him up very, very tightly.
They were Fremantle teammates last year. What a tackle. Little bloke on a big bloke.
Shanahan from half-back gets it to Leon Challey.
Neitz on the 50. Melbourne desperately need a goal. Wide to Farmer. He's 35 out. Kick it. He's got it at last. Well, after 3 behinds, Jeffrey Farmer finally on the board with a goal.
Well, they needed it, and the forward structure works well here. Again, both sides are really pushing their forward lines up into the middle of the ground so that they can feed out to players running onto goal. St Kilda do it with the last one with Ozzie Jones. Now Neitz finds Farmer running onto goal. If you can get the ball to a player in that position, he's nice and straight over the ball. More often he's going to kick it. Jeff gets his first.
Well, he's only had 4 kicks, and I'm sure he must have been wondering before that. Big punch by White. Excitement machine, Jeff White. Gathered by Zilla. Left foot kick across the half-back line. Will bounce awkwardly. Johnson's on the ground. Matthew Febey gather. Handball away from Ozzie Jones. And was that deemed as deliberate? No, it'll be a throw-in.
The way the crowd roared when Jeff White won that hit out, I wonder if they ever roared that loudly when Polly was doing it.
There's no doubt about that. I think that everybody loves to see the big ruckman at the centre bounce get the effective knockout. We saw a replay there of David Schwarz and his opponent off the ball. 28 plays 20, St Kilda lead. The Febey and Jones contest is enthralling stuff. Ozzie Jones has kicked 2 goals. Certainly an impact player for the Saints so far. Gathered by Cook, he's done pretty well. Johnson off the ground, goes down the line, only gathers about 8 or 10 metres for his side. and forces another boundary throw in.
The intensity's really lifted down here. You can really feel this game going. And news on Woewodin, he is okay, just a cork in his gluteus maximus.
And with Woewodin off the ground, the job's been given to Andrew Liancelli, who'll be tagging Nathan Burke, who's had 10 possessions.
Aussie Jones gets another kick out of the air, but Stephen Febey takes the mark. 8 points the margin, Saints in front. But Melbourne have had 10 scoring shots to 8. Kick by Febey. Neitz gets it to the front. It comes to Rigoni, who kicks back into the pack. Low out of it so far. Young, close to the line, and the ball out of bounds.
Their playmaker in the middle of the ground, Todd Viney, being minded by Jason Daniels. One kick and one hand pass, Peter McKenna.
Yeah, so Robbo, they're putting David Neitz up the ground round half forward and Jeffrey Farmer one out in the goal square. Probably trying to change their forward set up a little bit and get a bit of drive.
Ball helped on by Burke. But Rigoni is back there for the D's. Good half volley pick up by Seacat. Just gets rid of it in time. Heatley in the middle of the ground. Brown's been good. Oh, Uze took one high, or so he tried to give us the impression. No whistle. Winmar, clever tap, but chopped off by Ingerson. Back in defence, Rigoni. Gergic. Oh, some sort of a hand pass. Umpire Carey reckons that's okay, throw it in.
Oh, and is he not happy with that, young Brett Gergic?
Low off the ground, Terry, and David Sirakowski is into the arena of play.
I don't think Stan can mess around with Stewie Lowe any longer. Stewie needed a bit of a spell to get it up and going, but Gergic very lucky to get away with that deliberate.
Well, you wonder, don't you, sometimes? I saw a young fella penalised the other Friday night. One in a whole game of footy. Well, this is Todd Viney getting his second kick. Little one, not bad either. Well marked here by Febey. Stephen Febey, left foot kick out wide. And Tingay, they're starting to get a bit of it. The boys that have been a big part of Melbourne's performances over the whole of 1998. Febey again in the middle of the ground. Schwarz will go for a big bomb. Doesn't get onto it. Farmer's on the end of it though, and he's marked just away from Justin Peckett.
It looks like Stephen Tingay now has gone into the forward line, been followed by Stephen Silla. Of course, both players have been playing on the wing. And once again, that's the advantage of playing in front if you are a forward. I mean, the kick dropped short there by David Schwarz, who tried to kick the ball 60 metres. You must play in front.
Farmer going for his second goal. He's got it. So after 3 behinds, Jeffrey Farmer has kicked 2 goals. It is 2 points the margin in favour of St Kilda.
I'll tell you what here, Wills, you've played a lot of your football, most of your footy in the back pocket. How would you feel playing against Jeff Farmer with no one else inside 50 to give you a chop out?
So what Peckett's task is here is to watch his kick, and once the ball leaves the boot, he's got to be working the ball, where I think Justin got caught working against Farmer.
And Wakelin, it looks like Shane Wakelin back onto Tingay.
Margin back to 2 points. Melbourne starting to get value. Rigoni out of the middle, straight up the middle. Neitz. Mitchell front of the pack. Schwarz, 40 metres out. Tingay, 30 metres out. Couldn't quite get it back.
Hasn't Stephen Tingay reflected Melbourne's form in the second half of the season? Missed games early with hamstring problems, but you know, over the last 10 games, he's really slotted in, and his experience has given Melbourne that solidness that they needed in order to make this quest towards the finals. A great contribution to the side.
Great kick-in has been marked by Burke. The kick-in being done there by Shane Wakelin, and Burke has the football. St Kilda lead by 1 point. Burke's kick into the middle of the ground, taken by Aussie Jones. Looks to play on and does just that. Off the left boot. Rather ordinary kick, gathered by Cook. Handball away. Daniels, wider still. Little indecision there. I think it was meant for Jones. Didn't get enough on it. And it just trundles over for a throw-in. Cook has been good since he's been on the ground.
And it's been a move. It's been a move by Stan Owls here. Stephen Zilla now has gone onto Jeff Farmer, and Peckett now has gone up the ground. So the move by Stan Owls.
Melbourne working hard to barrel the ball forward. Liancelli, kick to the 50. Schwarz caught underneath the ball with Hudson. Well done, David Schwarz. Neitz from the boundary line. Farmer, it's in the goal square. Free kick. Free kick to Farmer.
Well, I'm very clear. You can't play the man in these situations where Jeff Farmer's involved. Once the ball has left the boot of the kicker, the defender really has to attack the ball. Stephen Ziller didn't attack the ball there. His intention was to hold Jeff Farmer out of the contest, and he's lost.
Well, the Demons had 3 goals in the first quarter last week from Farmer, and they blitzed the Crows. This now for 3 goals in 6 minutes in the second quarter.
You just wonder, Wills, what you do there with, of course, Jeff Farmer. They're playing him sort of one-on-one, of course, inside their 50. And here we are. Here's the replay, Wills. You caught it spot on. I mean, still had front spot. He should attack the football, not worry about his opponent on that occasion, and maybe even trying to force the ball towards the boundary. So the umpire was spot on with that decision.
Heatley off the ground.
So that's a bad sign for St Kilda. Heatley and Lowe, they're 2 key goal scorers sitting on the bench.
Whoa, Jeff White again to put that St Kilda defence under pressure. Young gathers to Hodgson, then to Peckett, in turn to Harvey. They must get a goal back now. The momentum has swung. It is definitely with the Demons. Gather here by McDonald. Viney getting a few touches. Awkward, but wasn't that clever by White. Still Viney. Over the top, that's a free kick to Todd Viney. It may have been Viney down again. It might have been against Cook.
Yep, just a crude piece of work there by Big Cook in at the ball here. You know, Viney's in over the ball and Cook just barges over the top. There's no doubt about that being a free kick.
Viney with the free kick between half-back and centre wing. No one really to kick to. He's going to have to bomb away. Kicks in the direction of Schwarz. He's at the back of the pack, gathered here by Hodgson. Handball away. Harvey set up, and Travis Johnstone was maybe a little kind there.
No doubt, Robert, the big turnaround for the Demons. In the first quarter, Jeff White lowered his colours certainly to Peter Everett and Brett Cook. This second quarter, White's been outstanding, Jeff White.
Interesting look at the game from Peter McKenna.
Well, how could Jason Heatley, Robbo, be the natural full forward and hasn't played there the whole game, then gets dragged off the ground? Unbelievable.
Winmar keeps the ball in for Harvey. Round the members' boundary line they go. Knocked on by Brown. Ingerson for the Demons. Runs out of room. So Spider Everett now gone to full forward, playing on Shanahan. Back injury to Woewodin, but we believe not too bad. Loser goes out. Winner goes on to the preliminary final next week. Daniels pops it up for Winmar. Kicks towards the 50. Adem and Hall. Hall and Uze out of bounds. A throw in. Stan Alves got a couple of his star forwards sitting on the bench. St Kilda 4-4, trail Melbourne 4 goals, 9.
And there's a lot of work for Stan Alves at half-time to get Jason Heatley back onto the game. You can see he's just an angry man sitting there, Jason Heatley, and yeah, it's a big call to be able to take players off like that.
Well, the influence of White on the ball in this quarter has forced Cook to just charge into him like that. White has been sensational.
It's incredible, isn't it? 21 years of age. He's played 56th game here today, but really the way in which he's controlled the game, White, he's really put pressure on St Kilda.
Free kick from the boundary throw-in against Anthony Ingerson, and it will go to Sirakowski. Short kick is all right too. Daniels has made position. Not quite up to right half forward, still about 2 kicks from goal. He'll get to them to the danger zone as far as Melbourne are concerned. Stephen Febey dispossessed. Nathan Burke, lovely little hand pass. Tony Brown goes for goal. And he's missed a goal that maybe he would feel he should have kicked. 1 goal, 1 to Tony Brown. Kicked a goal earlier in this quarter.
Stewie Lowe back on for Sirakowski.
And Stephen Ziller has the job on Farmer, and he's just dragging him up the ground at every opportunity.
Gergic to kick in, does it well. Finds Stephen Febey at left half back.
And Seacamp peels off him, playing his second final. Last week was his first final in 7 years of senior football.
Thompson should have gone a little bit harder there, I felt.
Uze still back at half back. Now the kick up towards half forward. Young couldn't take the mark, but he was pushed under it and will take the free kick. Matthew Young. Demons lead by 4 points. Over the wing, Thompson in front position. Courageous. Hall. Oh, he just tucked the ball under the armpit and crashed straight through. Well played, Big Baz.
Good little kick too.
What do you call big bustling Barry Hall?
Well,
and he bustled
he's
that
big,
time.
bad bustling, but he's got to be Butte, Doug.
He does. He's got the
He's got to
ability
add
to kick a couple of goals, Robbo.
Another spear to his game, I think.
Well, there's Jeff White again, up in the stratosphere to knock that ball to the boundary line.
Drew, that happened right in front of Russell and I. That was unbelievable, Jeff White there, crashing into Brett Cook.
Todd Viney's come off the ground and Woewodin back onto the ground as we have another look at Jeff White up over the top of Cook. Matthew Febey's got the football, but the umpire's found a free kick. It's going to St Kilda to be taken by Jason Daniels. He's just in front of the wing. His kick will land close to half forward. Still low. Yes, the big strong arms of Stewie Lowe at the second grab. His first mark. Second kick coming up. Short pass is all right, and within scoring distance, Peckett. But he handballs to Winmar, and Nicky Winmar goes for goal. And unfortunately for St Kilda, has missed.
He had just a little bit more time than what he thought there, Nicky. He went on the left and stayed on the left when there was enough space for him just to sidestep inside a little bit, straighten up on the right, because if ever the Saints needed one, it was that one. And it's a set play too, because Peckett took it and he fed off to the designated kicker in Winmar. He needs to make better of those chances, Nicky.
8 goals from 23 scoring shots. Good mark taken by Seacamp. Handball. Gergic did well. Got it down the ground. Oh, in goes Stewie Lowe, and the ball spills for Harvey. Strong football by St Kilda. Out wide. Peckett has come a long way down the ground and has marked it right half forward for St Kilda.
Back to Lowe, but here comes Ingerson. Woewodin back on the ground, back injury and all. Great kick by Woewodin to half forward, and Neitz on a good lead. Into Kowal, who's come off the bench. Kowal inside 50. Robertson is there, number 24. Tingay takes it. Well played. Back to Robertson. Too far out to score. White, hasn't he covered some ground? Half volley, pick up. McDonald. Farmer, the danger man. Goes for his 4th for the quarter, but didn't get any weight on it. And Robert Harvey's back there. Talk about covering ground. Harvey and White. One's about 6'9", and Robert Harvey is just the Rolls Royce of footballers. Now here's Peckett. Back in the defensive 50. Stewie Lowe starting to come into the game. He was revved up and benched by the coach. Lappin. Oh, Hall couldn't take the mark. Febey's hand pass knocked down. Here's Hall again. Febey. They want in the back. Nothing doing.
Oh, no, Barry. Stephen Febey was terrific there.
Oh, he's gone mad.
Silly.
Go, Barry.
Okay, do not hesitate, Stan. Get that man off the ground. He's going to cost your club. This is just not on.
They're taking him off the ground, taking him off the ground. Here comes Heatley.
Damn good job.
And he has been reported.
Well, he just got frustrated, didn't he? Only because Stephen Febey went back with the best second effort you've seen so far in the game. And just about 26 seconds of football madness by Barry Hall.
And it's going to potentially cost 2 years of work. I mean, St Kilda turned it around last year. Here's their biggest game for 2 years, and they're getting let down.
And a 50-metre penalty. The Demons could get a goal out of it. The ball out of bounds in the forward pocket. So Barry Hall reported and dragged Schwarz off the ground as well.
You bet Wheels. I think St Kilda side have got a lot of frustrated players. We talk about Barry Hall on the bench, Jason Heatley, who was angry. Stewie Lowe can't get the footy.
Schwarz has had 7 touches. Bit of a surprise. Out of the pack. Hurried kick. A high ball from Matthew Febey. And back in defence is Nathan Burke. He looks as though he's pulled a muscle, but he's still getting plenty of it. Coming up for his 12th disposal.
Half-time just can't come quick enough for St Kilda. There's 3.5 minutes of play left. What they need to do now is just lock this last 3 minutes of play down. Don't let Melbourne get anything and just try and hold it as it is.
White up high, try to push the ball back into the scoring zone for Melbourne. Eventually taken over there by Andrew Thompson for a boundary throw-in. Barry Hall, settle.
Just amazing, Robbo. I gave him a good rap last week. I thought he was great at centre-half back, even though his stats, I said before, was certainly down. But there is a time and place to even up and get back someone.
Well,
fight the time.
In today's
That's
football,
normally in the
Doug,
car park, Dougie, isn't it?
those
Or
days
down the
are over.
local.
Yeah,
Well,
those days are over.
there is just nowhere where you can square up now.
Well,
there
hip
are
and shoulder,
video
Robbo.
cameras.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know. Fair and square, get him back.
get the guy when the football's around.
Yep.
Ragoni dragged. Look at Tingay. Woewodin. Snapshot by Shane Woewodin. Has he scored? No, he hasn't. Goal umpire very emphatic there. Signals out of bounds on the full, so the free kick to be taken by Zilla. 33 plays 30. We've had just 8 goals scored in the first half of this knockout final at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Been mentioned a few times that whoever loses this is out of it, and the winner will go on and play on Friday night against North Melbourne.
Robbo, one thing we can't work out down here is Jeff White's dominating in the ruck. Everett's just languishing on Shanahan in the forward line, and Cook's getting belted.
Big John Nichols, an interested onlooker. Taken there by Neitz, but a free kick in the back, according to the umpire. Just pushed out of the ruck contest was Darryl Wakeland.
You'd wonder what Big Nick thought of that one, because that was a little bit soft too.
He's going to come back for another kick.
Should that be 50 there, Wills, when Tingay just put the ball on the ground? He had control of that footy there.
I reckon you're right.
Kick by Wakeland to a big pack on centre wing. White up high again. And at ground level, he follows up with a second effort. Low on the turn to centre half forward. Heatley. Well done, Shanahan. But he missed with the punch. Seacamp to Shanahan. To Kowal. Darren Kowal out in front of Neitz. Great lead. Magnificent kick. Farmer breaks from the goal square. Not the best of kicks for him, but it falls luckily for him. Farmer for his 4th for the quarter.
Oh, great play.
Unselfish. Great play. Uze the goal.
What about the vision of Farmer?
That's just grand football. I mean, he could have kicked the goal himself. He had a player a lot closer inside. But his vision was just absolutely brilliant there by Jeff Farmer. There he won the ball from a bad kick there by David Neitz, of course. Here he is. He could have kicked the goal himself. Great vision. A good running by Adem too, and rewarded by his hard running. Good football by the D's.
Uze kicks just his 28th career goal, but wasn't it an important kick in the context of this match? Jeffrey Farmer and Zilla's statistics.
But just the thing with Uze, Robbo, like he's the designated player who Melbourne try and get free in the back so he can just run offensively forward. Great reward for that structure there with Farmer giving the handball off to him.
Kowal important. His kick to Neitz was good. Farmer and Zilla over the top. Zilla looks anxiously at the umpire, who awards the all clear for a rush behind to the Demons.
Yeah, both players' eyes on the ball. You're not going to call one for hanging on to there because they're both in amongst it there. So probably a good result in the end there for Stephen Zilla.
Both guilty of jumper pulling.
No doubt.
Kick in there by Shane Wakeland. Oh, the leap by White was quite spectacular again. Stephen Febey back to the front of the goals. Out comes Neitz, couldn't take the mark. The spillage, Kowal is there. Gathered there by Zilla. He's dragged to the ground there by Robertson. It comes now to Lappin. Lappin for St Kilda, out wide to the wing. Well done by Uze to get back and confront Tony Brown. Tingay back onto the right, gives the hand pass. Melbourne go forward, a minute left. Woewodin's kick to the goal square. Farmer at the back. Where will the ball fall? Down to Wakeland. Wakeland for St Kilda, just a little stagnant. Harvey tackled by Ragoni. Still Robert Harvey gets it out to Hudson, and St Kilda momentarily out of strike.
Everett needed one touch there. They've lost it. Kowal, the hand pass. Matthew Febey, open shot for goal. Across the face and a behind. Disappointing from where he was.
Well, if Robbo called St Kilda out of strife, I don't really think that is the case. You can just tell the way they're kicking the footy, Robbo. They look under pressure. They've got a bit of time. They don't know what to do with it. And they've really got to do some soul searching in half time. Mention upstairs, because wrap it up and get back to basics.
Well, stand out of his chair and ready to address his troops at half-time, which is just 30 seconds away. they're not out of it, the Saints. They trail by just 11 points, but on the play, the Demons are a mile in front. Matthew Febey, great mark.
Yeah, and you're right there, Drew, and that's what St Kilda really got to reconstruct something at half-time. They're no way out of this ball game at all on the scoreboard.
Well, it gets through. Tingay charges and goals! And right on the siren. The siren's gone for half-time, and Melbourne couldn't have finished more impressively.
No, they couldn't. They've kicked the last 5 goals of the game. Jeff Farmer, 3 of them. Adem, 1 of them. And here, right on the bell, Stephen Tingay, who had been so very good in the forward line for them, gets his foot to the ball and picks it up. The quarter undoubtedly belonged to Melbourne. They were able to win ball across the half-back line. Adem continues to be the link player of the run, but the back half doing very, very well for him, Bruce.
So St Kilda led at quarter time by 4 points, but Melbourne kicked 5 goals to 2, and that
been thrown out the door. Get in there and get the footy.
start of the second half. Oh, this scientific by White, the little tap back over his head to Rigoni was very clever. Neitz hand pass onto Tingay, who kicked a goal in the last second of the first half, but this kick is way off the side of his boot and out of bounds in the forward pocket. Terrific start by Melbourne.
It is, Drew, and you just can't discount the importance of the centre bounce work, and the way in which White is controlling in there, he's really giving his ground level players first go at it, and they made the most of that push forward, Melbourne.
Everett all right this time, but Schwarz is there. McDonald tries to ride the bump. Schwarz the hand pass back. Over his head, Neitz. Mitchell lost sight of it. There's a high tackle in there. And the free kick comes back to Darren Wakeland. He goes across the ground. Well, it's strange. The sun's out, but it is raining. One twin brother to the other. Darryl to Shane, and Shane Wakeland goes for a touchdown on the southern stand side of the ground and up short. On the ground is McLaren, who didn't get a run in the first half. Winmar, true centre wing.
So McLaren on for his first run, but both Hall and Heatley on the bench for the Saints.
Winmar with the football on centre wing, puts St Kilda into attack, and a good mark is taken by Ingerson at left half back for the Demons. It looks as though it's going to be ordinary conditions for the rest of the day. Seacamp couldn't quite take the mark. Tried to get the hand pass into the path there of Stephen Febey. McDonald tries to get it clear. Still a bit of trouble there. The two McDonald boys involved there. And it will be, looks like James McDonald with the free kick on centre wing. James McDonald with the football, gets the ball to within 50 metres, punched away from Neitz there by Wakeland. Ball spills to Kowal. He's well tackled by McLaren, and the ball spills over for a throw-in.
Bravo, just a quick update on the conditions. Beautiful conditions here at the MCG. Sensational for football, for water polo, that is.
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, but well, here we are, sitting in the rain. The interchange for St Kilda, Hudson, Heatley, Hall and Cook, all the big guys.
And Melbourne is Steins, Johnson, Woewodin and Russell Robertson.
Well, it looks like a penalty against Todd Viney. Obviously, the umpire thought that maybe he had a chance to get rid of it. And Daniels takes the free kick, gets the ball to Young. Young runs past the wing, kicks the ball towards centre half forward. Good kick, Lowe out in front of his face.
Stewie Lowe, who went the first quarter without a touch, came back into it a bit in the second quarter, finds Everett.
Don't
right
turn your back, son. Don't turn your back.
Not when you're 60 metres out, Robbo. Good call.
Yeah,
He's just
can't
turned his
believe
back,
that.
big Spider Everett. He's too far out to kick the goal. I just want to say, if he kicks this goal, this is a goal they've got to have. I mean, if they don't kick the goal here and Melbourne get a goal, I'll say it's all over.
Everett, 52 metres out. Plenty of distance, but just offline. Did it cross the line? No, it's ruled that it was punched off the behind line, out of bounds, and a throw in alongside the behind post.
It makes you wonder, Robbo, doesn't it? I mean, everyone's coached that from when they play under 10 football. Never turn your back on the plane, yet it's done at this elite level by Spider Everett.
Lowe did very well. Daniel's hand pass was at the feet of Brown, so he couldn't handle. Very wet ball now. It's a ball up right in front, 25 metres out.
Well, you don't mind a bloke turning his back when he's 15 or 20 metres out, but when you're 60 metres out and the way the weather is and the way the ball will be getting a lot heavier, you just can't do that.
Everett, just 5 possessions, 2 marks. Here he goes, outside of his foot, but out of bounds on the full.
So the way in which Everett and Lowe work is that as this initial shot at goal came for Everett, Lowe moved forward up towards between half forward and wing, and Everett then comes around the back to sneak into centre half forward. So the initial play had Lowe chipping the kick back over to Everett, and that's when he turned his back. Here he is again now attacking into the forward line. So they're having a go. It's just that the form of Peter Everett isn't up just yet.
Well, I feel that the conditions are just going to fall into Melbourne's lap here. The ball spills to the back. McLaren gets back onto his right, and then kicks the ball to within scoring distance. Oh, wasn't that a good mark? Ingerson playing his 100th game. Gets the handball away. Rigoni able to back himself with his pace, ran away, kicks it out wide. A contest here on centre wing between Matthew Febey and Aussie Jones. Well done by Aussie Jones to Winmar. Winmar gets around and then kicks into the full forward area, right into the path there of the Melbourne defender. Still Gergic not able to control it. Now it's going to come away through Leoncelli. Leoncelli's kick should be marked and is a good mark taken by Jeff White on centre wing.
So there's Melbourne's form of play. A couple of quick handballs that carry the ball out of the back. Look for Jeff White across the centre line.
Neitz couldn't take the mark. The ball spills to the back. This rain has now become quite torrential.
Just a point though, Robbo, to give St Kilda still a chance. Last week it was wet in Sydney. At half-time they trailed by 22 and got beaten by just 2. They had a second half revival that almost pinched the game. They didn't trail by as much as 22 here, only 17.
Oh, no doubt that there's still a chance, Drew, but they must kick a goal. They've had everything against them so far in the latter part of the second quarter, and their efforts now. McDonald's kick, Spider goes back, can't quite gather the ball. It runs through for a behind to the Demons. 6-12 to 4-6, 18 scoring shots to 10. 10 goals out of a total of 28 shots at goal. Matthew Young to kick in.
And Melbourne, St Kilda are kicked out in the full 4 times inside their 50, with Melbourne twice inside their 50.
Well, here's Everett in the back pocket. He's kicked a couple of the most wonderful goals of the year this year, and he's not going to kick a goal from back there. Across the half-back line, and McLaren's had a few touches since starting in the second half. 3 straight kicks the difference. Oh, he's kicked straight into Tingay on the mark. Tingay centres, past Farmer it goes. The hand pass back to Farmer. This for number 4, but he hooked it back too far. And that's out of bounds on the full, into the behind post on the full.
Could have set this place alight if he'd taken a couple more steps and backed himself, straightened up and had a shot.
And all 700 people from Temple up would have been up and running. Handball?
Yep. He's had 7 shots at goal, Farmer. 3 goals, 3 behinds, and 1 out of bounds.
He's been terrific, hasn't he? Wakelin, that's Shane Wakelin's kick outside the defensive 50. And Lappin is appealing for the mark and he's being paid. He's been reasonably good. He's had 7 kicks. He's kicked a goal. Matthew Lappin for St Kilda. Gets onto a big punt kick out in the direction there of Everett. Gathered at the back there by Stephen Febey. His kick, reasonable. White. Now kicked forward by Leoncelli. Neitz out. Lappin stood his ground well, didn't he? Neitz tried to make it there for Tingay. Young went in there and locked it up for the Saints. And the fans are happy with that little contest. The ball will be bounced about 65 metres from the Melbourne goal.
Well, there's commitment at the ball here from both sides here. This is good work from Lappin. He knows that Neitz is coming, but turns into the contest. Couldn't complete the mark, but did it well.
Everett in front, taken there by Shane Wakelin. Back towards the centre, and there's a free kick to Melbourne. Looks as though it's Stephen Febey, the recipient, on centre wing. He can go short, but he decides to swing around and kick it long. It'll land at centre half forward. The ball spills to the back of the pack. Now the pressure on Lappin. Lappin just hacks it out of there for the safety of the boundary line, about 80 metres around from the Melbourne goal.
Robbo, it's the first time I've seen a little player set up a kick behind the play in front of the forward like Farmer. Lappin is just setting up there, trying to cut Farmer off. And yes, Farmer's, which is near Narrogin, where Winston Abraham's from.
The ball back out of bounds for another throw-in.
It would have been a fair contest for the mark of the year back in the under-14s and in that area.
Yeah.
Must have been something in the water down there, I think.
I think so, Barrett.
So Schwarz goes in ruck against Everett. Almost clean possession, Schwarz. Stephen Febey did pretty well. Gee, there seemed to be a lot of Melbourne players in there, but they couldn't get it out. And once again, it'll be ball up, probably thrown up by umpire John Harvey.
I'll tell you what, Wills, I'm just looking at the Melbourne defence here. It looks like Anthony Ingerson seems to be playing on his own. Sierakowski's down to centre half forward for St Kilda. Jeff White's playing a kick behind the play. I don't know, maybe Stuart Lowe go into the ruck, put Peter Everett centre half forward and maybe get Lowe into the game. The ball's not going down to give him an opportunity to get into the game.
John Harvey wanting some more room from the ruckman so he could bounce it. And it's a free kick to Everett against Schwarz. It often happens when a non-specialist player goes into a ruck duel against a ruckman, gives away a free kick. Everett to the centre of the ground. Good running Peckett. Oh, at the last moment he left it for McLaren, and between them they've mucked it up. Tingay. Oh, good hands, Uze. McLaren. Gergic for Melbourne. Oh, he went without it. You can make excuses in these conditions. Ingerson, kick smothered. Spills out to James McDonald. Up short of half forward, Mitchell camped underneath it. Everett paddles the ball across, paddles the right word. Wakeland, Shane Wakeland to half forward. Sierakowski. Well, Winmar was buried in the front of the pack. I'm not sure it wasn't Sierakowski who did it, but he gets the free kick.
Yeah, it might have been Matthew Febey on an occasion, may have given Nicky a bit of a push before Sarah come over. Yeah, no doubt, yeah, Matty Febey gave him a bit of a push.
Oh, Winmar goes for the top, gets onto it. And it's a behind. But Winmar has had 4 shots at goal, for 2 out of bounds on the full and 2 behinds.
Well, they desperately need a goal, St Kilda, just to give them some sort of impetus. They just can't. It's been a long time between when they kicked their last goal. 8 minutes in the second quarter, so it's been a dry run for probably the best part of half an hour for St Kilda. Short kick. It's well marked in that left back pocket by Rigoni. 17 points, that was the margin at half time. Rigoni kicks it high and long out towards the wing. Oh, Jeffrey White! You little ripper! Kicked it in towards the middle, taken by Febey. They should get a goal out of this, shouldn't they? They've got to be inspired. Leon Challey, chance here for Melbourne. Running onto it now, Anthony McDonald. Left foot kick off the ground. Farmer in front. The ball spills out wide. Still a chance for the Demons. McDonald again. Farmer again. Harvey off the ground. Goes back towards the wing. Absolutely clean bowl, Seacamp. Ingerson there to tidy up. The short kick has been marked by Tingay. Well, he brought the place to life, Jeff White then. Tingay with the football. The fans here just having another look on the big screen. Tingay to kick the ball to within scoring distance. Neitz at the back, couldn't hold the mark. Nathan Burke to kick it back for St Kilda. Out wide, McLaren couldn't take it. Seacamp at the back. Reasonably short ball handling, able to gather. Kicks into half forward, and Kowal, who can kick a football, marks about 50 metres out. Darren Kowal runs close. Oh, look out. Trying to crib off the mark there. Umpire has nothing to do with that. And look at Jeff White. Terrific leap and mark. The kick by Kowal is wide, very wide, misses everything, out of bounds on the full free kick for St Kilda.
Just quick, Robbo, congratulations to the Channel 7 people. Look at sensational camera work.
The kick out wide to half-back, McDonald. Neitz, handball, chance for Kowal. He shot the goal, looks pretty good. Darren Kowal, one of the cleanest users of the football out there now, has kicked Melbourne's 7th goal, and they lead now by, what's that margin now, 22 points, 23 points.
Well, they've really kicked away, haven't they? We spoke about, Robbo called at the 8-minute mark of the second quarter with St Kilda's goal when Aussie Jones put them 15 points up, but since then 6 goals to Melbourne really has turned it their way.
Rookie coach Neil Danaher pondering perhaps a preliminary final berth next week for the team that ran last year. Rigoni hacks it out of the air. It goes Melbourne's way again. Schwarz grabbed, didn't have it. Free kick Schwarz. He takes his own advantage. This could be another goal for the Demons. David Schwarz, great play. What a pity the kick. Still in the field of play. Oh, what a goal!
tell you what, Peter McKenna hit it on the head before where he said Jeff Farmer keeps his feet. That occasion he could easily fell over and not stayed on his feet. Good play here by Schwarz. It's been reasonably quiet up in the Melbourne forward line, but Jeff Farmer kept his feet. Brilliant football by him. No doubt, like Robbo said before, St Kilda got to get some goals, but there's no one down there. Hitley on the bench, low, struggling. Only Ozzy Jones can do it.
The excitement machine, the wizard. And the other Jeffrey doing it at the centre bounces, Jeff White. Harvey leads it behind. Tingay, Harvey might get a free kick.
Naturally, it was paid by umpire Harvey.
Robert Harvey with the football. Short kick, White gets back, can't take the mark. The ball spills to the back of the pack. Lowe tries to leave it there for Lappin. Lappin's hand pass. Back towards centre half forward. Kicked away by Seacamp into the middle. Kept his eye right on the footy, didn't he? Guy Rigoni, terrific stuff. Peckett for St Kilda. Back towards half forward, but a good mark. Has that been paid? No. Still there, Seacamp and Ingerson. They've combined pretty well. They've been lousy across that half-back line. And the mark is taken out there by Anthony McDonald. Wide is still to Kowal. Kowal for the Demons. He's just forward of the wing. He'll kick it to within scoring distance. Just inside his forward 50. The ball knocked to the front of the pack. James McDonald goes back to Rigoni. Oh, there's a mark here. It's a Melbourne mark. It might be Stephen Febey, is it? No, it's Matthew. Down the ground from centre wing, has marked well within scoring range.
Well, I tell you what, we've got a team here playing a group of individuals. We saw earlier Winmar from outside 50 have a shot at it. Everett from outside 50 have a shot at trying to get a goal individually. But Melbourne, every one of their goals has been kicked within 35 metres of goal. They set it up. They get it into the high return area in front of goal, just as this shot here for Febey is.
Well, this is going to be a sorry sight for Saints fans if he can capitalise. It's a good kick. Ninth goal for the Demons. Matthew Febey kicks his first. And the margin is a big one now. 35 points in favour of Melbourne with 8 minutes left in the third term.
Yeah, good hard run there by Matthew Febey. It appeared when I say his opponent, Nathan Burke, he is certainly injured. I watched that contest then. Matthew Febey got away from Nathan Burke on that occasion. Burke just couldn't make up the ground. He just couldn't catch him. And of course, a good team, as Terry Ruler said, by Melbourne, set that goal up for him.
Everett looking into the sun, down at full forward, but the ball's not getting there for the Saints. Actually, Heatley in the ruck. So here's the full forward and their leading goal kicker for the year, and he's one of the few who hasn't played at full forward today. Matthew Febey tries one off the ground. Low. Everett beaten by Shanahan. Stephen Febey for the D's, bumped off it beautifully. It comes to Winmar.
Anthony Ingerson in big trouble at centre half, in the centre of the ground.
Harvey's kick on the bounce to Mitchell. Badly needed goal for the Saints, but he's hooked it too far.
Yes, Ingerson was decked when his attempt to clear the ball. He did keep his eye on it, but by gee, he was confronted, wasn't he?
Yeah, Brett Cook just ran straight at him, hip and shoulder.
Ooh.
Yeah, could have been shoulder, well, maybe a bit head high there.
Well, he's up on his feet again, Anthony Ingerson, and that's good news for Melbourne. Gee, if this all gets sour for St Kilda from here, they trail by 34 points now. They had their best start for 26 years this year. They won 5 of their first 6 games. But if they lose here, that'll be just 2 wins in their last 10.
Well, this ball has been marked by McLaren. He's forward of the wing. He kicks it out wide. The mark is taken here by Brown. You wonder, don't you, where they're going to get them from. Brown runs to within 50 metres, kicks for goal, hits the post. So nothing there for St Kilda. 1 goal, 2 to Tony Brown. And they badly needed a conversion there. 9-12 to 4-9. And a disconsolate-looking Barry Hall, who looks on from the interchange bench. 8 minutes into the second quarter. St Kilda kicked their 4th goal, and they haven't added to that as yet.
We're now 18 minutes into the third quarter. Febey's combining Stephen to Matthew. 2 sets of twins out here today, the Febeys and the Wakelands. Some sort of history for a final. Nicky Winmar comes in short to Burke and finds him.
Can't kick the distance.
No, he wouldn't make it from there. Kicking from outside 50. And he's looking to give it off. He's got plenty of players out there, but they're further from goal now. Joe McLaren. Rain stops, sun out.
Kick it along, son.
McLaren into the hole, low, didn't reach him. Oh, well done, Stephen Febey. Comes across to McDonald, James McDonald. So there's, apart from 2 sets of twins, there's another set of brothers, but the McDonalds aren't twins.
They still look pretty much alike, though,
They
don't
do,
they?
don't
The
they?
3 of them, even
Yeah.
Alex, who I saw outside the ground before the game. But this kick now towards centre wing in the area of White. Over the top was Cook. Lappin does well. Then just indiscriminate hand pass, perhaps hoping that someone might have been on the end of that. The kick by Stephen Febey after receiving from brother Matthew. Peckett is tackled. And the umpire sees that as all fair and above board by Jeff White and will bounce.
Robbo, the Demons have rested Stephen Tingay, and they're amazed that Anthony Ingerson is still out there actually after that hit. And Jimmy Stein's desperate to get on. He's prowling the boundary. Hasn't had much of a run yet.
Knocked forward by Anthony McDonald. You can see Todd Viney just struggling for possession. Don't give up. Lead by example. Have a bit of a dip. Get the ball at ground level. And right now, he's coming off the ground to have a spell to be replaced by Woewodin. Don't worry about Todd Viney. He'll be there for you when the chips are down. Kick forward again by McDonald. 1-on-2 for the Demons. Kicked away there by Lappin in towards Peckett. Now they've got something screaming down the ground. Thompson for the Saints. Kicks to within scoring range. Up high was Heatley. Couldn't take the mark. Ingerson, the hand pass. Uze tackled by Everett but got the kick away. Goes back towards half forward. Farmer read the flight of the ball. Nearly swooped on the hand pass. The tackle on Wakeland. Schwarz pretty good. Tries to hold it up. Farmer. In goes Neitz. And Neitz has missed. David Neitz 1 goal, 3. Could quite easily have been 4 goals because the shots that he has had really haven't been all that difficult.
Could have run in
34
open goal
points
there,
the
Robbo.
margin.
Could have run in open goal there. Could have run another 5 or 10 metres. Just Wills, just a quick comment from you. Looking at St Kilda, no purpose, no direction, no flow in their play.
No, they haven't got a structure going whatsoever, and each time Melbourne have got the answers because they're disciplined enough to play the structures that Neil Danaher's put in place over a long time. That outriding position there of Travis Johnstone was just another example of it.
Travis Johnstone, who replaced Gary Lyon in the selected side, pokes it up to the pocket. It's uncontested now. That's too easy. David Schwarz marks.
The inexperience of the young fella there did well to hold the ball up until he had someone to kick to, Johnson.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Robbo. But how can a player of the ability of Schwarz be, what, 50 metres on his own? I mean, it's just rubbish. Gee whiz.
Schwarz looking for his first score. It's close. Oh, gee, that's a good kick. Just missed. Well, you wouldn't believe at the moment that St Kilda have beaten Melbourne the last 4 times they played, including the Ansett Cup this year, by big margins. Schwarz, he thought he had it, and then said, oh, no.
He's got a terrific nickname, hasn't he? The Ox. You're trying to run him down from front on, you'd be careful, wouldn't you?
Or a dark alley late at night.
Young kicks in for St Kilda. Goes pretty well straight down the ground. White, the big leap. Gee, it was kicked out of there by Uze. Neitz. James McDonald. Knocked over in the finish by Young. You really have your heart in your mouth when a player does that, but he's given the benefit of the doubt.
Robbo, they're taking Jeff White off, White off the ground, and the great Jimmy Stein's coming on. And Danaher rotating his midfield and forward line, resting him off the bench.
Good on you, Barra. Schwarz from behind. Still a chance for Melbourne. Schwarz to hold it up. Rigoni couldn't quite control it. McDonald. Gee, it's hard to gather the football, isn't it? Johnson could have nearly got a free kick. Kowal in there, McLaren, the tackling of Melbourne. Their desperation in their efforts to keep the ball in their scoring area is just creditable, to say the least. White having a spell on the bench, close to 3/4 time, 3.5 minutes left. Schwarz to do the ruck work, goes early against Wakeland, has the football, tackled by Cook, comes back to Johnson from 50 metres. Travis Johnson, shot for goal. Farmer, he's got it. Has he? No, he hasn't. It must have slipped out of his arms and through for a behind.
I just reckon there too, Will. I think Stan Howe's got to take a big player off the ground, a tall timber. I mean, the ball's down at ground level most of the time. Maybe Stuart Lowe or something like that should come off the ground at the stage.
Yeah, they've really got to pull something. You know, not too often the coach has that beautiful rabbit in his hat that he wants to pull out at this particular stage, because there's really, on an individual level, all the St Kilda players are down. Really. Joey McLaren has got some touches this quarter. This is Ozzie Jones' first kick for this quarter. There's too many players who have just gone out of the game.
There's Stuart Lowe now, Will's coming off. The move had to be made. A taller player coming off the ground.
Heatley knocks the ball on well. Oh, Peckett not good enough. Steins is in there, the hero of the Melbourne fans. It comes through Brown to Harvey. Harvey has a shot for goal. Not bad. Did it clear the line? I think it did. First goal for the term for the Saints, and it's taken 24.5 minutes.
And that is a long time. Robert Harvey, he's 20 disposals now, and that's what you expect from Robert Harvey. He's really altered his game a little bit over the last 6 or 8 weeks, where he's starting to get forward of the play, and starting to be a bit of a goal kicker. Kicked a couple of goals over the last few weeks, but too little too late at the moment.
Lowe and Sirakowski warming the bench for St Kilda. Up high with Steins, taken away by Harvey. Can he get his second goal within a minute? Taps it to his own advantage, but that awkward bouncing ball comes back to Robert Harvey. Couldn't quite gather it. Strong tackle, was a bit too strong. Might have been against one of the Febey boys by the look of it.
Yeah, Harvey was in there first. So, I mean, yeah, unfortunate with the bounce of the ball on the run. He had to have another go, but here it is. He's low over the ball. And I reckon he does it well. He knew Febey was there. He turned his back beautifully, so the contact was made. He gets the free. Oh, but it's off.
Goes for the torpedo punt kick at the feet of Everett. Steins maybe to lock it up. Gets the hand pass away to Uze. Uze, it's short to Burke. Well done by Leoncelli. Gathered by Brown. The crumb gatherer, Tony Brown, kicks to the goal line. Not quite controlled, that marking attempt by Ingerson, and it spills over for a behind.
I tell you what, you've got it for the Melbourne side. You've got to acknowledge even the previous administration. Just look at the defence with Marcus Seacamp from Fitzroy, Anthony Ingerson from Adelaide, and now they've gone and picked up Shanahan from St Kilda. 3 players who have come in and really are forming the cornerstone, and that allows young players like this bloke here, young Gergic, to really develop with experience around them.
And the kick by Gergic up towards the wing. At the back, Young for St Kilda. Into Cook. The boy from Broken Hill playing AFL football. To half forward. Comes to the front, Lappin. Hawks the hand pass. Off the left, Everett. Difficult ball to mark. And over the boundary line in the forward pocket. And Melbourne would be happy to see that for the rest of the game. St Kilda went from the 8-minute mark of the second quarter to the 24.5-minute mark of the third quarter without a goal. Steins and Everett. Jimmy Steins, what a legend at Melbourne. What a legend in AFL football. Punch forward by Young, into the path of Woewodin. Kick by Woewodin to half forward. Wakeland's back there. Schwarz arrives too late. And the mark's taken by Shane Wakeland. He's got Daniels, who marks at halfback. We're in the last minute of the third quarter. A 29-point lead to the Demons.
They could just snag a goal, St Kilda, before three-quarter time. You just never know. 23 points at three-quarter time would look half attainable. Punched away by Hudson. McLaren defending across that half-back line. Gathers and then kicks wide. No one back there for St Kilda. Peckett and McDonald for Melbourne. McDonald happy maybe to see it over. It is in the finish. Travis Johnstone, the Demon player, to take it over. And Everett perhaps having a spell before three-quarter time. It'll be an all-out assault in the last term. All or nothing for St Kilda. Melbourne leading at the moment. It's a 29-point advantage. It's going to be a big effort by the Saints if they're to get out of this. Jimmy Steins, of course, number 11.
I'll tell you what, Robbo, I reckon in the last quarter, if I was Stan Howes, I'd have all my trump cards on the board. I'd have Harvey, I'd have Burke, I'd have Wimmer, and I'd throw Jones on the ball as well. All your ball getters to get the ball forward. That's your only crack, I think.
Well, he certainly has some concerns because there's only seconds left now in this third term. Perhaps not enough time for St Kilda to score. And that is the siren. Just as Ozzie Jones was about to swoop onto the ball, the umpire has signalled the end of the third term, and at three-quarter time, Melbourne have a decided advantage. They're 9 5:15.69 to 5:10.40. That is a 29-point advantage for Melbourne. And Neil Danaher, he looks a little concerned, but there's the concerns. Stan Alves and his men, because they face a 29-point deficit at three-quarter time in the elimination final.
Bounce to start the final quarter. The first kick to Nicky Winmar. A greasy cricket pitch area. Winmar followed up off the ground. Oh, one-hander by Seacamp. Playing out on Heatley. Seacamp across the half-back line to Viney. And Melbourne players peeling off and getting themselves out into the open. Woewodin at centre wing. He has a week to look up at his options. To the 50. Oh, Neitz. You can't mark a wet ball like that. Off to Robertson. Robertson from 49. What a goal!
Well, that is a great goal. A great goal from the way in which the team structured up. Neitz very hard and aggressive at the ball to be able to take the mark here, but then feeding off to the straight running kicker, and that's what throws the opposition off when someone's barging through. But watch Jeff Farmer. Jeff Farmer has been so impressive. He's kicked goals, but he's laid tackles. He's been prepared to chase, and on this occasion, prepared to put the body into shepherd right on the goal line to allow Robertson to go.
And as well, Wills, Marcus Seacamp, the switch kick was a good kick across to Viney and set the play up as well.
White gets the big punch. Down towards half forward, gathered here by Winmar. Got the hand pass away to no one in particular, Thompson. Demons have the numbers when the ball hits the ground, though. Rigoni tried to get the hand pass out wide, but it's locked up by some desperate St Kilda defence there, and the umpire will bounce.
Quick interchange update, Robbo. Sorry to interrupt you, but Everett, Mitchell, Sierakowski and Hall.
Melbourne is Steins, McDonald, James McDonald, and Andrew Leoncelli, and Anthony Ingerson rested after that big hit during that quarter.
Well, he did suffer a very, very heavy knock, did Anthony Ingerson, and it'll be interesting to see how he comes up, but you'd have to say that he'd be a real chance. I mean, they're do or die now, aren't they? You lose it, you're out. Chance again for Melbourne to get the ball forward. It was Rigoni's kick. Landed it at half forward. Good tackle on Daniels. Ball spills to Robertson. He's been a little quiet, but he kicked the goal for Melbourne just a few seconds ago. And he holds the ball up for Melbourne across their full forward line. Russell Robertson, 4 kicks and 1 hand pass, but the goal earlier in the term.
Yeah, Nicky Winmar now has gone into the centre for the Saints, so Stan has chucked, of course, his best trump cards onto the ball.
Come on, boys. Still 25 minutes of footy to play.
And Robbo, Nicky Winmar was there giving advice, look, on how to behave on the field.
Tongue-in-cheek there, Russell, I guess. Robertson again. Oh, there's a goal coming up. Woewodin, no. Umpire's found a free kick. Is it going to St Kilda? No, it's going to Schwarz.
Oh, gee.
By gee whiz, that was a goal, certain goal, wasn't it?
Yep, missed a great opportunity to imply the advantage rule there. Here we see it. Hey, there's the free kick given in this contest here, and it moves on very, very quickly. And it's purely because everyone stopped that the umpire didn't let it go, but no one was going to chase him. He was only 2 metres out.
Well, Schwarz now going for his first goal. It looks good. David Schwarz.
I think the beauty of it all too, Wills, is no doubt Melbourne now have 8 scorers out of 11 goals, which has been very, very good for the Melbourne side. It just shows you, of course, with Gary Lyon out of the side, they can share the ball around. Jeff Farmer has kicked the 4 goals. Here we are, Melbourne's had 26 scoring shots now, to St Kilda only 15. The scoreboard tells the story.
So it looks as though St Kilda will bow out at the semi-final stage. Robert Harvey gets the kick out. Wakeland brushes the tackle, keeps it low to full forward, but over the head of Jones. And what a mark by Gergic, the youngster who was the Demons' #1 pick in the national draft in 1996. And hasn't he paid dividends in a couple of years? And
can we give Brian Cordy, who coached the Geelong Falcons, Hawk, an ex-Bulldog, who coached the young boy, a bit of a pat on the back. Well done, Toby. Developed a good one.
Lowe had a chance to take clean possession. Young's hand pass, too slick for Thompson. Thompson centres the ball to Peckett. Another slight fumble. He loses it in the tackle. Terrific tackle by Schwarz. Febey, the hand pass to Johnstone. Travis Johnstone, 47 metres out. You're beauty!
What an occasion for Travis Johnstone. In front of a big crowd here. Been a tough fortnight. Melbourne took him out of the reserve side last week and didn't have him play. They remained him as a non-playing emergency for the senior side, so didn't get a game last week. This week he was an emergency, comes in as a late inclusion for Gary Lyon, and in this run now picks up a great goal. First in finals. Well done, son.
Well, Melbourne's kicked their 12th goal through Johnstone, and they've snuffed out any possible chance that St Kilda would have had. Winmar having nothing of that. Kicks the Saints to within scoring distance. The ball spills to the back of the pack. Gathered there by Seacamp to Uze. In turn, don't they back up well across that back line? Stephen Febey's kick will be marked by his brother Matthew. Matthew can go short, and he elects to do just that. Woewodin has the ball on centre wing. Woewodin's kick to half forward. And in the finish, not bad work there by Hudson, not giving away the free kick against Neitz and knocking it clear for a throw-in, and Jeff White just a little gingerly approaching the boundary throw-in. He's way back off the ball, as a matter of fact, and the ruck work being done by David Schwarz. Young held up there at half-forward for Melbourne.
You could let Jim Stones finish it off now, couldn't you?
Yeah, and here it is here, Drew, you're right there. But, I mean, Jeff White, I mean, what a game he's played. He's been a sensational pickup for the Melbourne Football Club. And he's going to get these injuries because he's very, very committed at jumping in hard at the ball. He doesn't hold back. He'll risk injury, but a big, strong boy who I'm sure can carry it for many years to come.
And no doubt as well, Wills, the rule of Neil Danaher about playing only 100% fit players certainly has paid off here. Gary Lyon will be ready next week, of course, to play against North Melbourne. And young Travis Johnstone kicked that brilliant goal only minutes ago. Has had a taste of finals football.
Matthew Young in the hands of the trainers there. Throw in on the 50. Melbourne in attack again. Comes to Lappin. Away to McLaren. He didn't get a run until the third quarter, but he's been okay in the second half. Mitchell very gingerly through the slippery cricket pitch area. Winmar has had plenty of it in the last quarter. Good pass, Jones. Aussie Jones has kicked a couple.
The St Kilda have got a save face now. 47 points in arrears. They've got to get to within 30 points.
Boy from Beaconsfield. Kicks from outside the 50. Good raking kick, not quite there. And punched through by Jimmy Stones for a rush behind. .46 points the margin. And earlier on this season, they were beaten by 85 by the same combination. Here's Matthew Young. This is how he sustained his injury. Well, it'll be Melbourne's 7 wins in a row. It's not a bad way to go into a preliminary final.
And the record against North is pretty good too over the years. You know, they've probably over the years probably played 5 or 6 times, and probably 3 all, I imagine.
Well, Todd Viney accepted the kick in and then went into the middle where the mark has been taken by Winmar. Improving on already impressive stats. 18 possessions to Nicky Winmar. Burke, and Burke's kick has been well marked by Wakeland. This is Darryl Wakeland for St Kilda. And he's taken the mark about 30 metres out. It looked to me as though he may have been changed into that key half-forward position at the 3-quarter time break and hasn't really been able to get his hands on the ball all that much.
It's just one of those things you do at 3-quarter time when you're in trouble. Robbo, you just toss the magnetic board up and hope something falls that might look half reasonable.
Throw the names up in the air,
yep,
and let them fall wherever. And that's a good coaching ploy, Terry. That's a good kick by Darryl Wakeland, though. It's a goal.
And, I mean, the reason I can say that is that there's nothing structural. The players just aren't playing well.
Point taken.
You know,
yeah, no doubt.
As each individual, they've really struggled. We'd be struggling to find good, consistent player for the Saints side right throughout. Harvey's got some possessions. You know, Matty Young's got some off halfback. Burke's got some but struggled. Winmar late in the game, but really there hasn't been a stamp of anyone from the Saints side in this game today.
Stan Alls was a shattered man on grand final day last year. It's come 2 weeks earlier this time. semi-final day. Cook out of the middle. A high ball inside the 50. Oh, Stephen Tingay has been racked with injuries in the last few seasons. Is really enjoying his chance to play in finals and perhaps go all the way. Off to Viney. Ball skims for Johnstone. And that goal in this last quarter maybe just might keep him a spot on the side, even when Gary Lyon comes back. Who knows? Regoni.
Played a terrific game, Regoni.
Goes wide. Robertson, the Tasmanian. What a lead. The hand pass in. Febey. Off the left. Not a great kick. Kept in by Farmer. But he was taken out by his opponent. And it'll be a throw-in alongside the behind post.
Drew, just a little bit of concern on the Demons bench about Jeff White. Sustained a hit on his right knee thigh area, so it might be a little bit of an anxious wait this week for Demons fans.
Well, St Kilda still struggling to clear their last line of defence. It's going to go bouncing back in again. Febey in towards half forward. Winmar up high, couldn't take the mark. Knocked down to the path of Peckett, but robbed by Schwarz. Little kick by Regoni was good, wasn't it? The vision was there, and the execution was first class. The mark has been taken by Woewodin.
I'll tell you what, Robbo, I think it's fair to say that the word when the sting's gone out of the game, so obviously at the moment the sting has certainly gone straight out of this game. That was good vision there by the Melbourne player to find Woewodin.
Regoni has had 24 possessions.
Just, Robbo, I think the curators of our grounds have got a lot to answer for, because there's no trees, there's no rocks out there, there's nowhere to hide. And you've just got to be able to keep standing up. And, you know, even though the game's only got 13 minutes of play, there's a lot of personal pride for each individual St Kilda player.
Well, Woewodin will be happy here if he can convert. Have a look at this. Woewodin kicks his first goal. Melbourne get their 13th, and it's back out to 46 points in favour of the D's.
Made a great point about Regoni, Robbo. He's been just one of their best players today. And what a bargain at number 77 in the national draft. He was the D's 6th pick.
I love that. I reckon that that's fantastic. If you can find players that come cheap and they're playing in the unheralded competitions, it's terrific. So, gee,
that's a fantastic
nearly 90,000 people here today, which has been terrific.
But as you said, Robbo, Regoni's work in the mid, it's been either end, you know, either in the forward line, midfield, back line. You know, his 18-24 disposals have been well spread from one end of the ground to the other.
That crowd of 88,456 is just short of the biggest crowd ever watched these two teams. The last time they played in the final, it was 88,000 and just a few more, 914. And the umpire's going to come in and ball this up. Back near Melbourne's defensive 50. Well, we heard at three-quarter time the Demons haven't really finished games off recently, but in the last quarter they've kicked 4 goals to 1. They'd have won every quarter if they'd kicked straight in the first. Steins wins the hit out. Winmar's really had a dip in this last quarter. Ball's gone out of bounds. It's right under Peter McKenna. Pete?
Yes, I'm just looking at Nicky Winmar here. He's having plenty of the ball. I think he should have started in the centre, or certainly gone there a lot earlier, as he takes it into the forward pocket area where Ozzy Jones goes for it, and Viney takes it over, Drew. But think of Melbourne, they can go all the way with a forward line like that. Neitz, Schwarz, Little Farmer, Gary Lyon to come back in, and they're so good at midfield, they pump it down there time and time again. They're a very exciting side.
Steins, the opposite number 11, Mitchell. Harvey, you're gone. Holding the ball. It was a fantastic grip on the jumper by Guy Regoni, who was the man recruited from Myrtleford straight into the AFL, and the last fellow who did that was the great G. Ablett.
And this kid's doing himself proud too, Regoni. The kick into the middle of the ground. It's going to be gathered here by Seacamp. He's been very much an unheralded defender, and a very reliable one at that. Woewodin kicks down the line into the path of Johnstone. Like the look of this young fella. Hasn't played much footy, but by gee, he will on this MCG. Don't worry about that. McDonald has the football, and he runs around, kicks with the left into half forward. Uze, good kick of the football, kicks into the man on the mark. Shane Wakeland under pressure. So was Zilla. The ball spills to Burke, but the interception there for Melbourne. Burke after it again. Harvey a chance. Off the ground by Robert Harvey. Not too bad either. Winmar held a little too high. Maybe the advantage is with St Kilda. Peckett's kick finds Lowe. Lowe will get some ironical cheers. He's had an ordinary day, Big Stewie. Gets it now to Shane Wakeland. Wakeland towards half-foot. Oh, go back where angels, even demons fear to tread Stephen Tingay, and mark the ball courageously across half-back. Gets the ball to Viney.
Hasn't Tingay rediscovered some form of a few years ago? He's had 2 years of a heap of injuries, hamstrings, shoulders, knees, you know, a heap of stuff, and he's really resurrected the career. Yep, you can start to smile now, Gary, I think.
Yeah,
I think your boys are home.
Don't look so sad, Gary. He'll get another game. At half forward, Steins with Johnson. There's the young and the old. Viney buried. Don't think he had the ball, umpire. Spills to Young. The kick to the 50. Goalkickers gets back there. And has plenty of time in the back pocket. Shanahan worked Everett off it beautifully with a shepherd. Goalkickers' kick could be dangerous. Oh, what a mark by Woewodin.
Just the sure hands there. I mean, that just displays the confidence that Melbourne have got, that as individuals they're prepared to attack the ball and their hands are good, strong and clean.
Adem pops it up high. It sits and put Viney under all sorts of pressure. Uze again just breaks the tackle too easily. Here's Stephen Tingay. Oh, the one-hander. Beautiful. Straight to full forward. Oh, Neitz couldn't take the mark. Wakeland's there with him. Few crummers. And the umpire's going to ball it up. Stephen Tingay, a magician.
They can't do everything right, can they? Just a little bit of a mishap there when it got down to Neitz. But Tingay, he's just as exciting as any other player in full flight that plays AFL football. Melbourne a chance again, a snapshot out of that pack, has scored a behind.
I'll tell you what too, Robbo, Peter McKenna just touched on the Melbourne forward line. Their back line is one of the best in the competition as well, but I would like to say they've got the best junior players coming through Melbourne. I've no doubt about that. We've just seen three of the players in. We've seen Goalkickers, of course, Woewodin and Uze. They've got no doubt the best junior list in the competition, the D's.
Stewie Lowe's off again. He'll finish the game, the co-captain on the bench. So after his grand final performance last year and a couple here to finish this season, not going too flash.
Johnstone's kick towards full forward. Have a look at Jeffrey Farmer. He was waiting for that ball to come through. Didn't quite get there. It's kicked back by Nathan Burke to Everett. To Winmar. Winmar, 8 kicks in the last quarter. Went for the big torpedo. Didn't succeed, and it wobbles away. Over for a throw in about 85 metres around from the St Kilda goal.
Robbo, why don't we also spare a thought? We're seeing Stewie Lowe there, obviously not very happy, but what about Jamie Shanahan, the other flip of the coin? Like, he's had a sensational year for the Demons, and he'd be loving this to death.
No doubt about that, Russell and I guess Stuart Lowe. Well, he'd just like to get out of this place, I think, as quickly as he can. Winmar, handballs to Harvey, but he was just absolutely smothered there by Rigoni again. There's Shanahan on screen. He left the MCG last year, a very, very disappointed person, but he's got something to look forward to, particularly over the next week anyway. Harvey kicks the ball in towards half forward. Cook and Shanahan plays the percentages again, Jamie Shanahan. Just knocks it in front of himself and finds a boundary throw in.
I don't think he's got anything against the players of the club. I think it was just the way that all the negotiations fell over, and it was pretty ordinary the way it was handled, considering he's such a good guy.
Melbourne double St Kilda score, leading by 47 points, and we still have 8 minutes remaining.
Tell the beauty for the D's, boys, no doubt. As I did mention a bit earlier, had their 13 goals, now they've had 10 scorers kicking goals from them. We've always said they've relied on 3 or 4 players. It just shows Melbourne can share the ball around and kick the goals as well, particularly up in their midfield.
Woewodin mugged in a pack there, takes the free kick. Oh, choice of players. Jimmy Steins takes it. One of the first players who turned up in gloves. Now a lot of players have followed suit. Jack Daniels takes the mark. Half back for the Saints. Slides it away to Wakeland. Shane Wakeland's kick to centre wing. And Matthew Lappin will take the kick. Well, St Kilda couldn't believe they'd be in this position, eliminated in a semi-final after the way they were looking earlier in the season, and premiership favourites amongst most people. McDonald kicks deep inside the 50. Daniels, good tackle, Farmer. He wants the footy, Jeff Farmer. Well, Wakeland's shepherding. Melbourne might finish up with the football. while you shepherd and leave it, the opposition might grab it. Kowal's grabbed it, just offline from behind.
1 goal wonder. Darren Kowal kicked a goal in the 3rd quarter when the Demons kicked 3 goals 4 to 1 goal 4. That was the quarter that Melbourne took control of this match. St Kilda not able to convert. That looks like it might be a free kick to Johnstone. Away to Schwarz. He'll have a go, won't he, David Schwarz? Kicks it across the square, into the pocket. No mark taken. Wakelin in strife. And still there for the Demons. They're just trying very hard to get this ball clear. Robertson gets the handball back. Todd Viney. Snapshot for goal by Todd Viney. And that was just strength.
What a great team goal.
Fantastic there by the skipper, and he's been fairly quiet today, Todd Viney, to his standard. He's been a great player for many weeks. Here is the replay of this goal by Todd Viney. It was a great snap. Jason Daniels had the job on Todd Viney, done a brilliant job on him. But there we are once again. Now they've got 11 goal kickers out of 14, so it's been a great performance by the D's.
Just Morph, before you jump in there, can I just say Russell Robertson had the footy then, and Melbourne, he just looked like a big water buffalo, as Neil Danaher would love him to be.
Harvey out of the middle. St Kilda have managed just 2 goals after half-time. Matthew Febey, ball jolted out of his arms. Brown's hand pass over the head of Harvey. Winmar's going to get another kick. He has had a big last quarter, Nicky. 49 metres out. A disappointing finish. And he's had 5 shots for goal, 2 out of bounds and 3 behinds.
Yeah, the question of what could have happened early in the game. I mean, both sides had a heap of shots at goal in the first quarter. Melbourne kicked 1 goal 5. St Kilda had plenty of shots with 2 goals 3. There's their last goal. They picked up 1 in this quarter. But as Drew said, only 2 goals since half-time. They really haven't made a fist of anything, the Saints.
Well, Winmar's had 12 possessions in this last term. Aussie Jones tried to control the football, went in after it again, but couldn't beat big Jimmy Steins. Back goes McDonald with Jones. Try and force a contest. Steins, Burke, wide for Aussie Jones. Leoncelli was pretty good. Lapping back to Aussie Jones. Aussie Jones goes for goal. Fairly good effort, but Cook just touches the football, and eventually it just sneaks through for a rush behind to St Kilda. Of the 41 times that the Saints have gone into their forward 50, Nicky Winmar has been involved in 11 of them. He has been probably their best player, along with Robert Harvey. McLaren has been good since he came on at half-time. That hand pass, he let himself down a little there. This is Anthony McDonald for Melbourne. Kicks the ball back to the wing. Young couldn't take the mark, but he's going to gather it well, and he'll kick St Kilda back into the middle of the ground.
Everett getting the Bronx cheers, Spider Everett. Victorian ruckman this year. Here's Heatley coming up from full forward. It's Cook. And Cook takes the mark in front of Shanahan. And Brett Cook, who came into the AFL to Fitzroy from Broken Hill, and now to St Kilda. Played in the grand final last year in the absence of Everett, who was out for the last 2 finals. Cook kicks it pretty well, but I think he's got it. Well, you can be fooled, can't you? Another behind to the Saints. 6 goals, 14.
It's a big margin now, isn't it? 51 points, and as I said earlier, they really had to put in and get to within about 30 points.
What do you do if you stand out, Robbo, after today's performance? What can you do?
Well, I suppose football today, Doug, can be turned around in a week, and there's not much you can do. I mean, you can't have a real purge on players because it's just not available to you anymore.
It's been a disappointing performance by the Saints.
Most definitely, and I think they're the first to admit it. I mean, Normie Goss, at 3/4 time, did admit that he's got nothing out of his forwards.
Yeah, true.
So they're prepared to be honest with themselves, and you wonder, I mean, I thought Melbourne, they get a little bit more out of all their players, and that's why they're in the position they're in. They're a very good team, Melbourne. They don't have any superstars. Maybe this bloke will prove to be one just here, Todd Viney. His flying shot at goal. Look at that oval ball, will you? It went 3 ways then.
I'd just like to back up what Peter McKenna said earlier on about doubting about the use of Heatley. The last 2 times these teams have met, St Kilda have won both. Heatley's kicked 5 and 7. He never played at full forward today.
Robertson trying to just sneak into that goal-scoring situation. Still a chance for Melbourne. Anthony McDonald, can he get one? Late in the game, flying shot at goal, and it's going to be marked by Woewodin, and he'll go in and get one. Well, he hasn't added to your 11 goal kickers, Doug. No. But he's got another one himself, Shane Woewodin.
No doubt, Robbo. Just look at the Melbourne side today. Of course, they're up against North Melbourne next week. Here's a replay. No doubt next week, the Melbourne side, their midfield's going to vary the pace of the Kangaroos. But it is good football by the D's. Here's Anthony McDonald screwing the ball over his shoulder on this occasion. Shane Woewodin had all the time in the world just to stroll in and kick his second goal. It's been a great team performance by the Melbourne side.
Well, Stan Alves can only ponder another summer of pre-season work. After last year, finished up empty-handed when they were beaten in the grand final, and this year in the semi-finals, after they'd made their best start in 26 years with 5 wins in their first 6 games. Travis Johnstone, just a little bit too clever. Lost control of it, might get a second chance. Did well. Matthew Febey, Kowal, 50 metres out. Offline and out of bounds.
Just want to say to you again too, Robbo, here we are 2 weeks in a row now. The 2 sides that played in last year's grand final have been absolutely crushed by Melbourne. They, as you said, they are a ripper good side. Don't know about Melbourne. Flogged Adelaide last week and they've done the same to St Kilda.
Well, their last 3 wins, Melbourne, have been by an average of 54 points, and their margin at the moment is 58. And who's to say they can't go on and beat everybody and win the whole thing?
Yeah, there's just a great deal of excitement here, isn't there? Winmar for St Kilda. They just must fight it all out. Gee, that was a top effort, wasn't it, there by James McDonald. Not able to grab it at the second chance. Kicked forward there by Mitchell, and he was interfered with by Johnson. The umpire deems that as a kick down the ground. No, he's going to bring it back.
Yeah, we'll just see here that the contact is right at the point of the kicking. In the umpire's opinion, I think he's a little bit off the mark there, but when it's at the point of kick, it comes back to where the actual kick occurred, not downfield.
The kick with Mitchell goes in short. Everett will get it. Well, I don't know whether the ironical cheers are justified here. I mean, it just hasn't been a day when it rained like blazes. The Spider likes the dry conditions. He likes to take a mark and kick a few goals, but it just hasn't been a day for any St Kilda player. Maybe Robert Harvey, as I said earlier, and Nicky Winmar, and perhaps Nathan Burke, their 3 best. But Everett can make up for it here. He might be able to get a goal. A late goal for the Saints, kicked by Peter Everett.
Well, the St Kilda forward line just hasn't functioned. That was the 10th mark in their forward line, compared to the back line of Melbourne, who not only sport, but they've taken in excess of 20 marks in the back half. So the Melbourne defence has been very good. Their young players have been great, but in terms of St Kilda, that 17 of the players out there today played in last year's losing grand final. I think that puts a heap of pressure on the club and on that playing list. I think changes will have to occur during the summer.
Jim Steins wins in the middle. Woewodin a bit of a fumble, but it comes back to him. Shane Woewodin, a West Australian, who came across the length and breadth of the country, virtually begged for a game 2 years ago and hasn't missed a game in 2 years. That's an amazing story.
Just begged for the chance to have a tryout, really, didn't he?
Yep. And Melbourne's performance, going from 16th to 4th, is already the best improvement, zip up the ladder, anybody's done. What about 16th of premiers? Nobody will ever beat that in another 100 years.
Exactly.
There's the farmer, who in the paper this morning said of his shift to Fremantle, oh, I just wanted to go down the road and see what the other farmer was doing. So off he went. And what a turnaround it's been for Neil Danaher. His country farming logic, keeping the game in a simple form, has really worked here at Melbourne.
His brother, who left Essendon and went to the Riverina, has been an absolute sensation too as a coach. Terry,
Wagga Wagga, yeah.
He's coached about 6 premiership teams out of 7 or something.
Gee, if they ever get together in the AFL, it'll be awesome. Jimmy Steins, Wakeland with a backhander. Melbourne might have chance to get another goal here in the last minute.
Drew, and there's more good news down here for Melbourne. Jeff White is up and around and walking around, doesn't look too bad. And high fives all around when Tingay came off, and Febey, they're smiling down here.
Well, in the last few weeks, they have been able to rest a few of their stars late in the game when the games have been won. It's the big advantage of crushing the opposition. Kowal, Robertson, Winmar. Yeah, free kick, didn't have the ball when he was dragged down by Johnstone. Harvey, just 7 seconds left. Centre wing. Jones drops the mark. St Kilda's going to finish their season right here. And the Demons advance to the preliminary final.
The juggernaut just keeps on rolling on.
Yeah, we're under the pump there in the second quarter, and 1 goal to 4, and it was a terrific effort by our boys in the second quarter. Obviously, we went in a bit of confidence at half-time when Tingay kicked that goal right on the knocker, and yeah, I thought it was a terrific effort by our boys. The Saints, to their credit, they really served it up to us early, but I think as the game went on, we probably showed on the day we're a better side.
Must be hard not to get emotional with this crowd behind you cheering, the members. It's just all happening.
Got a fair way to go yet, mate. Thanks, mate.
It's great to see Jamie Shanahan in amongst his opponents today who were teammates in the previous 5 years. Here he is with Russell Morris.
Shanners, congratulations. A special moment for you.
Yeah, look, it's something you wouldn't have picked 12 months ago, but it was just a fantastic feeling, and I mean, we're continuing our form.
It's a bit of a juggernaut. We've been using that word a lot today, but the way the club has been powering through these teams, it's very exciting.
Oh, look, it's an exciting thing to be a part of, Fly. You know, we're on a bit of a roll. We're playing some powerful footy, and we just need to keep going.
How would you compare the morale around the club to, say, St Kilda last year at the same time?
Oh, look, it's very similar. You get a lot of enthusiasm. We get a lot of young blokes who are playing their first final series, and you know, hopefully there's no stopping them.
Well, congratulations on today, and let's hope from the Melbourne Football Club's point of view, you roll the roos.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you, Shanners.
Gary Lyon didn't come up through fitness today, but he gets another chance given to him by his teammates today. And isn't he happy for them? I'm sure they're happy for him, because he's been at this club a long time for a singular lack of success, and he has a chance to be a premiership player yet.
Yeah, well, that'll be great to see. There's a very dejected a lot of St Kilda players leaving the ground, but I think Neil Danaher, you know, when he said to Adrian Barrett at the end, there's a little bit of a distance to go. I watched his body language as he walked across and grabbed Gary Lyon. You've really got to put a bit of a lid on it. You like to show the excitement, but they've still got to win 2 games. Otherwise, they could probably feel cheated at the finish.
No doubt, Bob. I'll tell you what, they're a very close team. As you said, the excitement certainly is there, and probably rightly so. Last year they finished last. It's a big excitement moment for the club, and Bill Denner's been a fresh bit of air in the club. He's been fantastic. Good on him. Good on him.
Yes, less than 2 years ago, they were a merger candidate. They fought off that. They swept a broom through the place. Joe Grutnick came in with his diamonds and gold money, and new chief executive, new coach, couple of recruits, and it's just a totally different group.
Greg Hutchison is a very refreshing person on that list of people that we give credit to.
Yeah, no doubt about it.